Now, from this, I want to record about 15 minutes within the video because there's something that I think is very important to be recorded. The video is titled "No Freaking Way Jim Sullivan Knew Jeff Pesca Before His Richard as a Handler Video Surprise." 13 hours ago from Jonathan Clegg YouTube channel.
I heard the last video, right? So now there's all this motive. So Kathy Sullivan hates Jonathan Clegg. So does Karen Sullivan. They say it out loud. Jim Sullivan. He said, "Alex, I hate him." Why? Because I gave y'all a bunch of money and I let people donate to you and I laid hands on your wife and she recovered. But then because y'all were so phony and fraudulent that the Lord said, "I'm taking away your blessing." Isn't it weird that Jeff Pesca, the guy that showed up to dominate Richard Monblu's brain, isn't it weird he was saying the same words? "Oh, Richard lost his blessing. Richard lost his blessing. Richard lost his blessing." When I confronted Jeff Pesca, by the way, who knows Jim Sullivan? Who knows Jim Sullivan?
Did you get that, this expression?
Who knows Jim Sullivan? Who knows Jim Sullivan? Hey, who knows Jim Sullivan? Hey, who knows Jim Sullivan? When I confronted Jeff Pesca during the beginning of this whole ordeal, I knew something was very wrong. What's weird is Jim Sullivan never said.
Okay, so just sorry, but when I showed this and said that looks like it's a tail, but it's a shofar that he put it there, but now it's like he's got two tails coming out from his behind. Shofar displaying as tails. He had one, now he's got two. Because that one was over his head over here that was displaying horns. Kelly pointed this out, and then after Kelly pointed this out with the shofar ear that was over his head looking like horns, then I looked at it around and I said, well, there is also the other one that's looking like a tail behind. And now he's just changed position, and then there's become like two tails, but no, moving around.
Said anything that he knew Jeff Pesca. You know how I know that he knows Jeff Pesca? Because Jeff Pesca told Richard Monblu, who was kidnapped by Richard Monblu. Was kidnapped by Jeff. Richard Monblu, who was kidnapped by Richard Monblu.
Richard Monblu was kidnapped by Richard Monblu because if I'm playing this 15 minutes from around 18 minutes to maybe 30 minutes, okay, around that time, he is talking about Donna, and there was a question being asked about, well, is it the same La Donna that is found here? Is it the same person? Is it the same Donna? Why talk about it? It's because Jim had put a video showing how this person, Donna, was doing the skydive, and she was very insisting on trying to make the same V coming together as Jonathan Clegg had accused Karen and Katie of doing. And the accusation was saying, look, it's down, but we're up, and so they have two down instead of two up. And that was the whole thing about when they, he was repetitively for months, maybe, okay, Jonathan Clegg was starting his video, clapping, and then making the two V's coming together. People started to imitate that, but it was a trap for after that accusing Karen and Katie of being double down because they would bring the two down because the V, like the pointing both down, so it's two down instead of two up type of thing. But then Jane, he made full evidence about there was somebody else that Jonathan Clegg did not condemn, but was doing the same two down, which was because Jonathan Clegg showed the same two down all over his video for others to imitate, and after that he simply decided to destroy Karen and Katie with it, but was not accusing of the same accusation Donna, even though she was doing the same thing. And why not accusing himself too? Because Jonathan Clegg was the one who started it. So now Donna is started to be accused by Jonathan Clegg, but only now. But not about this double down, but about saying that she doesn't want the well-being of her own brother because she doesn't believe that Jonathan Clegg's intentions are good and that Richard Monbleu is still missing. Now there is a slip when he's, an error mistake in his speech. He's saying Richard Monbleu has been kidnapped by Richard Monbleu. Donna seems to be the sister of Richard Monbleu. Donna is the same Donna here that was making the two V's to show allegiance to Jonathan Clegg. And the conspiracy goes as far as in their plan, it was set up that eventually in the story, along the timeline of the story, that he would bring and use Donna as another guinea pig to try to elevate himself over his rescue over Richard Monbleu kidnapping. But then, if Richard Monbleu has not shown himself any scratches anywhere over his body and could escape a truck run, on the highway at highway speed, I guess, being able to escape a truck without never been explained how come he could escape the truck, and he just fell on the concrete without a scratch, nowhere to be seen, because he made a video showing himself that he was perfectly fine. How is it that he was perfectly fine on the video that we saw from Richard Monbleu? Because first of all, those videos, even they are uploaded, at the time they are uploaded, they could have been recorded way before. There's no timestamp to verify when the videos were recorded. We can only see when they were uploaded. Also, the numbers can be changed because they can manipulate anything with the internet now. So, what I'm trying to say here is that if La Donna is the sister of Richard Monbleu, and if La Donna was used as a guinea pig sacrifice pieces in his chess game, so could also be Richard Monbleu, her brother. All for the sake to bring down who exactly?
Was kidnapped by Jeff Pesca. Richard Monbleu was, because Jeff Pesca told Richard Monbleu, who was kidnapped by Richard Monbleu, was kidnapped by Jeff Pesca. Richard Monbleu was kidnapped by Jeff Pesca. He told him that they hung out together at the Night Under the Stars. So, Jeff Pesca, kidnapper, hung out with...
So, it's like basically you put a picture of two people, one side by side, and then automatically it will prove they are together in a scheme. That's the manipulation with the visual. Okay, it's using suggestion to mislead. Now, maybe it's a fact that they hung up together. I have no idea. Maybe Jonathan Clegg is going to bring further down the road more evidence. Maybe in this video. I don't know. Okay, I didn't watch it completely. But when I said earlier that they can use something that is a fact about something evil and it's verifiable or it's confessed, but then after that they would bring something else that they will say it's a fact about evil, but it was false, but people would trust it because they already had proof of another evil fact that was verified. So they will trust the other things that are brought when it's just made up. That's a problem, because if something is brought to the attention about something evil and it is confessed or proven out, it doesn't necessarily mean that every other things that are being said about the person that are evil are true. That it was really also fact and actual. But since people already could say, oh, this has been proven out, so why not believe the rest? Well, they could say anything then and expect you to believe it. This is complicated. Okay, this is really complicated.
Jim Sullivan at the Night Under the Stars. Richard confirmed Pesca and Sullivan relationship at Night Under the Stars. So the kidnapper of Richard Montbleu actually hung out with the guy that's doing all the channels saying,
They make on purpose this person look like a crazy person. But then after that, they just say, look, okay, they go together. And after that, I mean, this is a setup.
Richard Montbleu actually hung out with the guy that's doing all the channels saying, I hate Jonathan Black and Jonathan, I'm lifting the veil, but he doesn't have any biblical knowledge of anything. He allegedly got saved, he said, but he didn't get saved. He's the seed that received it with joy, but then he lost it because he wasn't willing to continue for it. The soil was not good. So anyway, isn't it fascinating now? I have a recording that I want y'all to hear that Richard talks about Jeff Pesca and Jim Sullivan. Wow. Who's talking to Donna Montbleu in her ear? Well, the Sullivans are talking to
Donna Montbleu, Richard Montbleu, brothers and sisters. Could they bribe a family? Richard Montbleu, he looks fine. He doesn't have a scratch on him. He fell on a truck on the highway. How does it happen? He was tied in a truck. He could escape. How could he escape? He was tied, duct tape and tied according to the story, but there's no explanation how he could get out of a truck moving on the highway, and he was blindfolded, but he knew where he was. How the blindfolding was removed after he got out of a truck on the highway, there's no explanation about any of this. What they are concentrating on is trying to say, look, Jim knew about Jeff Pesca. It's good to be all those people trying to work together to bring down Jonathan Click and Richard Montbleu.
Donna Montbleu. Why is Donna Montbleu telling everybody that Richard's still a missing person as of a few days ago? And Richard went on Gene Rebel's channel and he wrote a comment saying, I'm not missing in act.
Alright, so then there's more possibilities there. A comment written by Richard Montbleu over Gene YouTube channel saying that he's not a missing person. Well, if he is bribed and bought, and the whole family is bought, all the Montbleu are bought for to play this trickery, then Richard Montbleu, maybe being bribed, could be playing, with the story and saying that he's fine because the kidnapping was a trick from the beginning. Or somebody, having a knife under the throat, well, write this or let me take your account and it's going to be your avatar and your name and writing a comment, but it's not even you who's writing the comment. It doesn't prove anything. It's not because you show a video of somebody and you upload it on YouTube that it's showing the present time. It could be recorded way before. It doesn't mean because you type in a comment from using a YouTube channel that it's the person that really wrote it, because somebody can just steal his account, or if there is bribery going on. None of this count as proof. None of this.
Action. Donna, why are you saying that? And you know what? Gene Rebel apparently removed his comment. So
about this piqued my curiosity. But all the rest, it has no value.
And you know what? Gene Rebel apparently removed his comment. So I told Richard, you have to screenshot that you left that comment. Let me just show you what we have. So this guy knows this guy, according to this guy. and according to Richard. Okay, so let's look at this comment from Kathy, and let me look at this comment from this guy Gene Revel, whatever his name is. I'm sure we're going to find out his name pretty soon. Hello, Jonathan. How are you? And Team JJ. Does that sound like right to you guys, Team JJ? This is a very serious thing going on here.
They never really said the reason why 2J instead of 1 and why Team JJ is because there's Team Joe and there's 2 Jonathan because my name is Jonathan No Lying. And then you've got Jonathan Kleck with his 100% no lying. They play dumb when they know the whole story actually. So where's the transparency?
Like right to you guys, Team JJ. This is a very serious thing going on here. Good, I hope. Look at that.
He posted over Jonathan Kleck Uncensored one of my videos. He cannot say that I'm playing with imagination and making stuff up, saying that he knows the whole story. He posted one of my video over Team Joe. Now that's Hireling. He posted one of my videos over his Jonathan Kleck YouTube site Uncensored. They cannot play dumb forever.
This is a very serious thing going on here. Good, I hope. Look at that. That's kind of evil. I couldn't help but overhear the telephone conversation between you and LaDonna, and I wanted to help you get her word out to everyone. 432. You know me, JJ, always wanted to help out, but I also have to ask if she is trustworthy or not, because according to all the hand symbolism LaDonna uses during her jump, she already seems to be pretty loyal to somebody, Jonathan. So now this guy can't ask if she is trustworthy or not, because according to all the hand symbolism LaDonna uses during her jump, she already seems to be pretty loyal to somebody, Jonathan. So now this guy, Gene Revel, is so delusional he thinks that LaDonna on her skydive is showing hand signals that means she's loyal to me. Do you know?
And then LaDonna is the sister of Richard Monbleu. So LaDonna Monbleu, Richard Monbleu, same family. Maybe it's a family bribe. To make this trickery about a false kidnapping. The videos uploaded of Richard Monbleu, false testimony, appearance of, you see I'm in a safe place, when maybe it was recorded way before. The comments posted, you know, somebody can take your account, make comments, that's not even you make them, or you make them but you are told to make them because you're bribed and all of that. So where does it come from, this thing about hand symbolism? Well, it was because you have this one that was showing that LaDonna was making great effort to bring the two V's together in her skydive. And then Jonathan Kleck had accused Karen and Katie of doing those same two V's brought together, saying, look, they are two down, not two up.
My name's Jonathan. Now those are in JJ's. Why do they call me JJ? My name's Jonathan.
But if the two separated V's just weren't enough to prove it to you, maybe you could take one of the next 6 frames that depict this committed Jonathan Kleck follower, then bringing her arms and hands together in order to unite them into a single V. Just like the way you taught the twins, JJ. You know, the very same way you say you never taught the twins.
So it means it was not delusional. It was not delusional. Well, this would have been a great time to bring back the videos of Gene Revel if Jonathan Kleck would have been legitimate and honest about it. But he's just saying it's delusional. Why he didn't bring the video? They are available, they can be easily found. And I mean easily found. Because how do you think I found them? Going on Gene Revel YouTube channel, scrolling down, and then saying the thumbnails like this, and saying the thumbnail like this. So, Donna, the two V's, Karen Katie, the two V's, not hard to find there. Very easy to find. And since Jonathan Fleck is always referring to the thumbnails, he should have found it, but he decided to not show it, but say only it's delusional. So as Jonathan Fleck is sacrificing all his chess pieces, then he's not winning any pieces.
Guy Gene Rebel is so
because even being separated, we're still together. Because separated or not, the Holy Spirit is going to work for the side of the Holy Spirit to win. No matter if we are separated or not.
delusional. He thinks that now this guy Gene Rebel is so delusional. He thinks that LaDonna on her skydive is showing hand signals that mean she's loyal to me. Do you know how just crazy that is? I'm a skydiving instructor.
But since she is a Montbleu and it's Richard Montbleu that has been kidnapped, then since showing loyalty from LaDonna, and then Richard Montbleu doesn't have a scratch on him in the video reporting that he's fine, even after, you know, escaping from a truck on the highway, which is very suspicious, right? Then together in the bribe.
I'm a tandem instructor. When someone goes out of a plane, they're not throwing hand signals to show their loyalty to
But they did.
somebody they listen to on YouTube. That is just crazy. Yeah, that's a Gene Rebel comment. Just
LaDonna was making huge donation to Jonathan Fleck. She was making huge donation to Jonathan Fleck. Now there's another turning around, and now the accusation go back to LaDonna from Jonathan Fleck. LaDonna was making huge donation to him. What that's about? What is it all about?
it's like you taught the twins those very same signs. That's a Gene Rebel comment. Just like you taught the twins those very same signs. So now he's saying, let's see. LaDonna uses during her jump. She already seems pretty loyal to somebody, Jonathan. Could those gang member signs that she's displaying mean anything other than loyalty to Jonathan Bargo Kleck? So now this guy Gene, or I'm sorry, I call him Gene. Now this guy that has a Gene Rebel account, do you see how delusional this is? This is pure delusional. This is lunacy. I mean, this is squirrel nutties. Yeah. This is really crazy. Gang signals now while she's on a tandem skydive.
This is squirrel nutty? Squirrel nuts?
Squirrel nutties. Yeah, I'm gonna say. I mean, this is squirrel nutties. Yeah. This is really crazy. Gang signals now while she's on a tandem skydive. Didn't you teach her those hand signs, JJ? Just like you taught the twins those very same signs, the very same signs you later condemned them for? Did you ever chastise LaDonna for those same evil signs? Why not?
Because the problem here is that Jonathan Fleck, he said that we need to show transparency, and he's trying to say, look, they deleted a comment so they don't show transparency, but he's shooting himself in both of his feet because he's showing the comment that is displaying the full proof, and he's reading it out loud, and the only thing he's got to say to his defense, it's delusional. So he got to try to show transparency himself, to show, look, they don't show transparency over the side of Team Joe because Gene Rebel. And then you've got, he deleted a comment. But what about the proof that you read out loud?
Okay, so here is a total delusional person. Now here's someone who's also very delusional. Kleck, you sure shut my mouth, my lying big mouth up, didn't you? I guess that comment I was going to make about LaDonna just taking her correction, going back to normal, is going to have to wait. Wow, sad. I really wanted to say that for the record, you know. I mean, Corey even told Karen that when he came to get his stuff, just get through it. He hugged her and left. Click. Please put this in your show notes like a good little boy you are. Okay. So you can tell by reading Kathy's comment her hatred for me. Kathy hates me. Whoever hates her brother is a murderer in heart. A murderer, that's what the Bible says. So Jim has already told Alex, I hate him. He said it with conviction. I've heard Karen Sullivan tell me, you didn't know me, Johnny, you was the Lord. I heard hate in her voice. I was like, whoa, I know, Karen, the Lord sent me to lay hands on you. Wow, and now you hate me. Wow. She was never converted, ever. None of them are converted, obviously. They're full of hate. So anyway.
I received my own healing from being close to my cousin, and I hated her too. I hated her because of the things that she had done. Amongst those things, when the man with her was asking to call for my paycheck, and she did listen, and she did hearken to the voice of the man with whom she slept to ask for my paycheck without telling me it was for him, the other guy. And the other guy was telling, your cousin is in love with you, so just call him and ask him for his paycheck, and we're going to, just give it back to me. And then she did it. And after months of harassment, she confessed to me. So I hated her. I hated her when she told me that the guy, he left, and he went back, and he left, and he went back, and he left, and he went back, and she was still having an open door for him. I hated her, even though it's because I was close to her that I could receive my own healing. Being physically close to her, I was healed of fibromyalgia, which is a disease that is not supposed to be healed in normal circumstances. I hated her. I hated her also because it was more bearable for me than to love her, because I had to be separated from her.
Sullivan tell me, you didn't know me, Johnny, you was the Lord. I heard hate in her voice. I was like, whoa, I know, Karen, the Lord sent me to like...
It says in the Bible, no man has yet hated his own flesh. You know that Eve comes from one of the rib of Adam.
Hands on you. Wow, and now you hate me. Wow. She was never converted, ever. None of them are converted, obviously. They're full of hate. So anyway, so isn't this fascinating? Now let's go look at Richard commenting. Now watch this. Here is Richard's sister. Nobody has seen him. Still MIA.
Missing individual. Okay, Donna saying that Richard is still missing. Donna is the sister of Richard Monbleu. Donna is the same Donna that was showing the two V's coming together and was making big donation toward Jonathan Clegg. That's why Jean says, look, she's pretty looking loyal to you, Jonathan Clegg. And then after that, later on the road, Jonathan Clegg is bashing over Donna because, he's playing his chess pieces.
And that was on one of Gene Rebel's videos. And Richard went and wrote, and then you should go read these comments.
You see the same Alan Turner that left a comment over my YouTube channel to say that he never seen something like this in his whole life, and then there was Pleonastic emissary trying to cut it. Alan Turner, when I said that his comments are being seen, they are, because they are even being seen not only on the Upfront over Gene YouTube channel, but also on Jonathan Clegg YouTube channel. They are seen, the comments of Alan Turner. What I'm talking about here, I'm talking about Alan Turner here. When I bring to the attention, ringing a bell, blowing a trumpet, is it going to be brushed aside this too? And then Alan Turner is looking at it, is listening to my message, and he's saying, can you believe what you are saying? I have never seen anything like this, like it in my life. And then it goes on to say, oh wow, I can't imagine, wouldn't think that it could be any worse. Alan Turner is sane. His comments are seen. Look, the proof. They are seen here too. So when the spirit and pleonastic emissary try to cut it, I know that it's part of the spirit trying to prevent. Just the same way as I said that for Robert Kelly, and they both have the same in their comments. And he's saying it's almost like they are both being controlled by the same entity. So are you. And you don't know yourself. And you don't know the spirit that is in you, just like Jesus said to the apostle, even when they called for the fire of Elijah to come down, he said to them, you don't know what spirit you are of. But he knew it.
I agree with, look, do you think maybe Billy guy is a new handler? So what they're alleging now is the person that took Richard Monbleu to safety, now he's got a new handler. These people...
Why don't you start making videos saying about what I'm alleging? Don't pick up on easy fights. Go for the big guys.
People are so delusional, it's mind-boggling. Okay, so here we go. They're going to go down their little... Billy needs to be checked out by law enforcement. Is Richard being passed from one handler to another? Why hasn't he reported to a sheriff's office in person? Or has he? Now, why didn't anyone answer that? Here's the answer. Yes, he has. Richard has walked in the door of a police department, just not the El Dorado one, because he doesn't feel comfortable there, and he initiated a kidnapping charges against Jeff Pesca. He began the ball rolling, gave him the information, and he sent the same information to the El Dorado Police Department and to other police departments. Does that sound like a reasonable thing to do to you? Sounds pretty smart, I think. That way there's not just one person, oh, come on in, yeah. He said that there was, actually, he went to go get a record of a well check that was done over at El Dorado, and they didn't have a record of it. So he feels uncomfortable. If he can go get a record of something that should have been at the El Dorado Police Department, it's not there, I can understand the trepidation for sure. Now, here is Richard commenting on Gene Revel's channel. By the way, y'all need to go read Gene's comments. This guy is beyond delusional. His videos are beyond delusional. But can you imagine the Sullivans there and a former sheriff over there at Gene Revel's channel? That's just crazy. That means that you're associating with someone that is saying things that are demonstrably false.
Or maybe it's showing that there are something over there that is more believable.
And wicked and hateful and just really weird stuff. Donna Cesar, he's saying on a skydive jump, is shooting gang signs to show her loyalty to Jonathan Clegg.
Well, when you look at the very background of Jonathan Clegg, whenever he's saying it's very weird over there house. It's very weird over their YouTube channel. Did he even look at his own house? Actually, this is a shipping container.
That's just wacko. I mean, this is straight up crazy. Okay, here we go. Now, Donna, I am not missing, so stop posting on Gene Revel's YouTube channel that I am. You are not helping my efforts to bring Jeff Pesca to justice. Well, isn't the goal to get the guy that kidnapped Richard, yes or no? Well, sure.
No. The goal is to bring down the house of Gene Revel. That was the goal, right? The kidnapping thing is just a way to get it done.
You are not helping my efforts to bring Jeff Pesca to justice. Well, isn't the goal to get the guy that kidnapped Richard, yes or no? Well, sure. I would love for the guy to get picked up and brought in for questioning. That'd be great. I'd like to see all his emails, all his communications, everyone he talked to, all his phone records, and I would like to see that for the Sullivans as well. Now, I'll show you mine. I don't have any relationship with Pesca. I don't know the guy. I don't have any phone records, email conversations with him, none of that. He even said when I called him up the first time, hey, have we ever met? No. Have we ever talked? No. So out of his own mouth,
Two people agreeing together to lie, they could say that. Jonathan Clegg talking about a setup in the camp of Auvergne House. But then for sure, in the same video, Jonathan Clegg says that God will prove that his intention and his will by making a setup. So let's start with this.
All right, folks. God bless you guys, and welcome to This Is It 4, 3, 2, 1 Before the Fire. All right, guys. Well, let's do something very different today, huh? I'm sick of all the drama. Are y'all sick and tired of all the drama? Can you believe the craziness that's been involved in the past, whatever it's been, couple weeks now? It's insane. Lies, deceit, setups, all kinds of craziness.
So you heard him. He's starting the video saying that his enemies over Auvergne, which is the epicenter, okay, the direct line communication between Jonathan Clegg, his camp, and our camp, even though we are separated in the body. Then he's saying they are full of drama and setup. The story with kidnapping of Richard, it's Jonathan Clegg who started it. You know, he started to talk about some story of kidnapping, and he started the drama. But they say that we are full of drama. By the way, the date here is October 3, 2023. It's getting late. So he said it's a setup, it's lies, it's drama. The enemy are desperate, and so they are ready for anything and everything. But then at 14 minutes of the same video, he's talking that when he is told to go and lay hands to perform healing miracles, for him to know that he got to do it, it's going to be God making a setup to confirm to him it's the will of the Father. Can you see a contradiction over this?
Craziness. Sick and tired of all the drama? Can you believe the craziness that's been involved in the past, whatever it's been, couple weeks now? It's insane. Lies, deceit, setups, all kinds.
Lies, deceit, setup. Lies, deceit, setup. So he's putting it like this, okay? Lies, deceit, setup. At 30 seconds in the video. At 14 minutes in the video. He's going to talk about setup also. But it's not going to be lies, deceit, setup this time. He's going to talk about setup to confirm that he had to lay hands and to perform miracles, to know it was the will of the Father that sent him to do it. So can you see that there is issues here?
Wandering around the property where the containers were. And several people had come up to me and said, Jonathan, you've got to go find this little girl. Her and her grandmother showed up. She's blind. You've got to go lay hands on her. And I was like, okay. Yeah, we'll see where it goes. All right. I'd turn around, talk to some people, and some other people would say, Jonathan, you got to go find this little girl. She came with her grandmother, and I think it's her grandmother. And you got to go lay hands on her. I was like, okay, guys, just... it's frustrating sometimes because I want to, but I don't get to pick and choose. And so someone had just told me that. They had just said, Jonathan, you've got to find this. I was just like, okay. And I said, you know what? If God wants me to do it, he's going to set it up. That's what I said. What? Okay. And I said, you know what? If God wants me to do it, he's going to set it up. That's what...
If God wants me to do it, he will set it up. So at 14 minutes, when he's talking about him doing miracles by the will of the Father, he's saying to know for sure if he has to do it, if it's really God wanting, the true God wanting him to do it, he will set it up. So how come at the beginning of the video, when he's talking about his enemies, he's saying lies, deceit, set up? Why do you think he says that enough with the drama, let's go back to the biggest altar in the world is a dead sheep? A serpent eating a sheep? Why he doesn't want to talk anymore about the drama? What was the transparency about? He wants to flee from it.
What I said, God, like, so someone had just told me that. What? Okay, other one, see where it goes. All right. I turn around, talk to some people, and some other people would say, Jonathan, you got to go find this little girl. She came with her grandmother, and I think it's her grandmother, and you got to go lay hands on her. I was like, okay, guys, just, you know, it's frustrating sometimes because I want to, but I don't get to pick and choose. And so someone had just told me that. They just said, Jonathan, you've got to find this. I was just like, okay. And I said, you know what? If God wants me to do it, he's going to set it up. That's what I said. I said, God, if God wants it to happen, it's going to happen. And right then I turned around to walk away from that person that was telling me what I had to do. I was like, if God wants it to happen, he'll set it up for sure. Would you excuse me? And I turned around and I almost ran over Lexi. She was right behind me. She was standing right behind me. So when I turned around, I was like, oh, hey, how's it going? And she's like this, looking up through these really thick lenses. And I was looked down at her and she got, and her grandma, I believe it's her grandmother. She goes, hi, I'm so-and-so. This is Lexi. And we drove all this way, and man, my body just started buzzing so hard. I was like, whoa, this is, wow. And I looked at Lexi and I said, and she said, she's blind. She's like legally blind. She can't hardly see. And I looked at Lexi and I said, Lexi, you know what? The witness of the Spirit that I'm getting right now is so strong that I'm going to lay hands on you for sure right now. And I said, I don't know exactly what's going to happen, but I guarantee you something's going to happen, because the Lord wouldn't have me doing this right now if something wasn't going to happen. I wouldn't be zinging like this, just buzzing. I know Mike MacGyver hates that. Ugh. Right, Mike? Anyway. So yeah, anyway.
So you heard it, okay, at the beginning of the video, talking about his enemies. It's all set up, lies, deceit, and set up. But then 14 minutes later, he's talking about his own story, that to know for sure if it was the will of the Father, then it would have been set up. And at the same time, he's saying, let's get away from all the drama, let's forget about this battle, and concentrate with his message of Vatican is a dead sheep.
All right, folks, God bless you guys, and welcome to This Is It, 4, 3, 2, 1, Before the Fire. All right, guys, well, let's do something very different today, huh? I'm sick of all the drama. Are y'all sick and tired of all the drama? Can you believe the craziness that's been involved in the past, whatever it's been, a couple weeks now? It's insane. Lies, deceit, setups, all kinds of craziness.
Lies, deceit, setup. At the 30-second in the video that was uploaded 14 hours ago, then you go at 14 minutes. Lies, deceit, setup, he said, from his enemies. But then, to confirm to him, God will use a setup.
Lay hands on her, and I was like, okay, yeah, we'll see where it goes. All right. I turned around, talked to some people, and some other people would say, Jonathan, you got to go find this little girl. She came with her grandmother, and I think it's her grandmother, and you got to go lay hands on her. I was like, okay, guys, just, you know, it's frustrating sometimes because I want to, but I don't get to pick and choose. And so someone had just told me that. They just said, Jonathan, you've got to find this. I was just like, okay. And I said, you know what? If God wants me to do it, he's going to set it up. That's what I said. I said, God, if God wants it to happen, it's going to happen. And right then I turned around to walk away from that person that was telling me what I had to do. I was like, if God wants it to happen, he'll set it up for sure. Would you excuse me?
So do you see the clear issue when talking about his enemies and saying lies, deceit, setup, craziness? And then after that, he's going for his own story, saying he knew that he had to do it because there was a setup. As he's walking away from the battle.
And I turned around and I almost ran over all this way, and and she's like, legally, Lexi, you know what? The witness of the Spirit that I'm getting right now is so strong that I'm going to lay hands on you for sure right now. And I said, I don't know exactly what's going to happen, but I guarantee you something's going to happen, because the Lord wouldn't have me doing this right now if something wasn't going to happen. I wouldn't be zinging like this, just buzzing. I know Mike MacGyver hates that. Ugh. Right, Mike? Anyway. So
now he's talking about MacGyver and the buzzing, and Jane making a report of MacGyver response toward Team Joe at the time, when he was answering back by buzzing over and shaking and so Jonathan Click, he is talking about the people around, and then MacGyver 9 hours ago pick it up.
Needs to print their money, so they.
I don't know exactly what's going to happen, but I guarantee you something's going to happen, because the Lord wouldn't have me doing this right now if something wasn't going to happen. I wouldn't be zinging like this, just buzzing. I know Mike MacGyver hates that. Right, Mike? Anyway. So I was just buzzing, and I told Lex.
The thing about Mike MacGyver hates that is I claim that Jonathan is trying to teach what I give him.
Have you looked at the channel that they're at? I'm sorry, the G Rebel channel is pure Satanist. All they do is accuse, attack, malign, and hate.
I'm not a part of that, okay? Actually, they rejected me because I just wouldn't be like them. But anyways, it was mainly Mr. No Lion's, Jonathan No Lion's fault, which is now the hireling. But Jonathan's into this art stuff.
So MacGyver took it back, and he said that he's not part of it, and that's my fault that he got rejected over Jane YouTube channel. But then, how does he explain that I was rejected too? I was rejected as well. He did not receive me over Jane after I brought judgment over his own people. Because I said that as Jesus is protecting his people, he's also judging them. So then I asked 4 hours ago and still no answer, and I don't think that there's going to be an answer. Maybe I'm even blocked from MacGyver YouTube channel, because eventually this would come to that. But then, okay, I'm not denying that I didn't block MacGyver. Also, I did block MacGyver, but for a long time, even though I blocked him, he was keeping me letting comments on his channel. But it seems that it gets to the point that he blocked me too. I've been asking why they rejected me then. If I am the cause to reject you, why did they reject me as well? Do you see what's going on? Jonathan Clegg is talking about buzzing as a confirmation for a setup to know it was the will of the Father, 14 minutes after mentioning that in the other camp, they were lies, deceit, and setup. Then he's talking about MacGyver, because Jane made a video about showing MacGyver when he was shaking, and it was his response for being rejected. Now, Jonathan Clegg talking about it, MacGyver catch on to this, play back the portion of the video, and then he's saying that it was basically my fault. You know, Hireling, Jonathan No Line. It's my YouTube channel. Team Joe, Hireling. So he said it's my fault that he was rejected over Jane. But then I'm asking why they rejected me too. Why they rejected me then? If I am the cause for to reject you, why did they reject me as well? Something to think about. And it's getting more and more difficult, but I've got something like 7 hours that I did not yet upload, and I'm just waiting for Kelly to upload their video, and then I'm going to just throw everything out there at once. But I guess that the reason behind it spiritually was because Jonathan Click would throw on his side and in his camp all his cards, and now I'm really thinking that Jane Revel, everything that has been uploaded is really from somebody else using his YouTube account. They have to be able to know what we're doing in advance, because as I'm preparing what I want to post, the very subject has been addressed 52 minutes ago. There's more phone calls being posted over Gene Revel, Mirrored from what's going on over Jonathan Click's sites. And then it's phone calls talking about Jeff Pesco, Jim Sullivan relation, and there is Jonathan Clegg saying that he's being accused of hacking people's account. Well, that was exactly what I was going to talk about. I just didn't upload the videos yet. And just to give you an idea, I started to record those a month ago, or about a month ago. And then I'm just taking back some of those and trying to make short version or to keep the essential of the message. But basically, since I've got this mysterious letter from Gene Revel, I don't believe it's Gene Revel anymore. So from this point on, what it means is that everything that would be uploaded over Gene Revel YouTube channel, I would look at it very critically. And then I'm looking at this, phone calls with Richard, relationship with Jeff Pesco and Jim Sullivan existed. And then in it, it's been talked about how Jonathan Clegg has been accused of hacking people's account. Well, exactly. Hacking people's account, like taking over Gene Revel YouTube channel and using it, pretending that's Gene that's still uploading when actually it's their editor, okay, their computer guys that are working with them that taking over. In the video, Jonathan Clegg said that he has no ability to be able to hack people's account, but he doesn't have himself to have those abilities, because with money he can buy people that can do it. It's like people hiring somebody to commit murder. Well, the person would say, I don't know how, I could not make a murder. Well, if you pay for somebody else to do it, then it's not good enough and as an excuse that you say you cannot do it or you didn't do it. When Jonathan Clegg saying that he doesn't know how to hack somebody's computer, he just have to pay for somebody who knows how to do it. So I'm going to show you what I found from this, because this is from 52 minutes ago, uploaded over Gene Revel YouTube channel. Today is October 7, 2023. And when I was listening to this, I wanted to find, there was a video Jonathan Clegg made in the past years, when he was saying that when he's making an event, people that will attend to the event, they have all to be scanned and go through very precautiously, looking at who they are before even being allowed to take part of the event. So when there was the night under the star, even though it was at the Ark and it was over the property of Karen and Jim, since Jonathan Clegg was part of it and organizing everything about it about the night under the stars, then you can bet $1 million that he would make sure that anybody that would show themselves over there, he knew who they were. But then in this phone calls with Richard and talking about different things, he's saying that he doesn't know Jeff Pesca, but seemingly he was at the Ark and Jim knew Jeff Pesca. Well, it doesn't work. It doesn't work because since Jonathan Click was taking part of the Ark at the time with The Night Under the Star, then there's no way that Jonathan Click would have let slip through anybody to be attending the event, especially that was important, especially that, I don't know if you remember it, but Jonathan Click said, you don't know how much he set up the Ark. So there's no way anybody that showed there were not all going through the scanner. You know, knowing who's who. If you want to attend, we know you to the event. We got to know who you are. He had made a video about this already. I was trying to find it back, and instead, I ended up there. From 2021, Enough of the BS, a video in which Jonathan Click, he said that there was another video that has been uploaded, but he put it in private, but it never went back public. So he had made a video that he wanted to hide after. He did not want people to know about it, and, because it was showing a darker side of Jonathan Click. And even in the remade other version of the same, he was still showing a lot of the dark. And in his confession, that the way he handles fights is not always spiritual, but sometimes he's ready to kill somebody. And it's expressed when you watch the video here, Enough of the BS, when he's talking about a story when somebody, a lawyer, showing at his house, and then he was calling the police to get him out, but since he was forced intrusion to the house, invasion of house forcibly, then he said that he would use his martial arts, and he would basically, it was threatening to kill the guy if he wouldn't go away. And then after that, he said, well, that's a warning for everybody that would want to show at his house. And then he went on to even say that somebody attempted to kidnap him. So I was thinking, okay, now I'm led to this video, searching for evidence that Jonathan Click already made a statement concerning if there is an important event like Night Under the Stars, then for sure everybody that would want to attend to the event, they must all go through a type of precaution, scanning people, account, know who they are before being able to step, to put a foot on the property where there's the event. But now, with this latest phone calls, then they pretend to say that there was this guy, Jeff Pesca, attending the Night Under the Stars, and then, which was a major event organized under supervision of Jonathan Click, of course. And then it just went under the radar that this guy, Jeff Pesca, who is apparently kidnapper, then he just went at the Night Under the Star just for Jonathan Click later to be able to associate the relationship between Jim and Jeff Pesca. So you hear him say over and over, Jonathan Click saying over and over in the phone call, people at Gene are starting to accuse Jonathan Click of hacking computers, but Jonathan Click doesn't know how to hack computers. Well, right there, it's really stupid as an argument, because you can buy somebody, you can bribe people. He's always made a lot of statement that he has access to a lot of money from the nation over the ministry, not to mention the Illuminati family that he's got to be part of because he married a Dupont. But because you cannot marry another Illuminati family without being yourself in an Illuminati family. It was all a pretense to cover up this fact when he said that the money he gets to be able to pay for everybody is only coming from ministry donation. So now I see Gene Revel is posting this phone call But at the right time, when I was about to upload something like 7 hours videos talking about this very hacking computers and taking over YouTube channel type of thing. Also convenient. So you got to look for the true motive. So first of all, let's play a little part of this clip, enough of the BS from 2021 11/5.
Open the door, and he turns around, he blocks the door, he tries to come in as a forced home invasion. At that point, because I have my sixth grader there, I have to grab a phone, open a lock blade knife very quickly, and that's one of the things I trained with in martial arts. And I told him, I said, if you come one more step, this is going to happen right now. So I was put in a horrible position where I almost killed somebody on my front porch, trying to force their way back into my house. Okay.
And then earlier in the video, he's saying that he let a demon enter into his house. But he was streaming over his program, and he was making sure that people would be aware that there was a demon into his house. And then after that, how he handled it? He handled it with his martial arts. What about the verse, we wrestle not in flesh and blood, but against spiritual wickedness in high places? Did he forget about this part? How he's justifying this?
Manifest this demonic presence, and he's talking and doing this back and forth to himself. I'm like, oh great. I tell everybody I'll be back. I don't know, some people in this audience may remember that. I don't know. Anyway, so I say, okay, you know what, it's time for you to go. I've been back province. Said my name's Saul. Everyone looked like a very net that up. I was at home with my son Trinity. I had a headset on. I was in the back room, kind of like I am now. And there was a knock at the door. Trinity answered the door. Clay was there. And Trinity answered the door. There's a guy dressed there very nicely.
Claire Dalle, it's been 2 years that he disappeared. He disappeared, okay? It's been 2 years. Again, Jonathan Click can take YouTube channels, Gmail. Remember, he said that he had favor with the director of YouTube because of laying offense miracles. That was a statement made by Jonathan Click. Yes or no? Yes, it is, okay? A statement from Jonathan Click that he would have favor with YouTube director. So the thing about changing his join date and being able to overtake Gmail and YouTube account, I think he can do it. So you've got Claire Dalle. If you're looking for Claire Dalle, he had a couple different YouTube channels, and one of them was explaining what was his work before he met with Jonathan Click. And the work of Claire Dalle, you cannot find those videos anymore, but Claire Dalle was making videos explaining that if you want to need somebody to make fake publicity to get people enticed to get into your company type of stuff, then that would be the man to call. And then, of course, he didn't share this with all the people when he joined the ministry of Jonathan Click, and all the videos are gone now. But there is also the YouTube channel, Faithful Berian is Claire Dalle YouTube channel now that you can find, but there's no activity since 2 years. There was a comment posted, but a comment posted from Jonathan Click using his YouTube account, just like he did when he took over Cory Barbie YouTube channel, when he took over Zach Wentz YouTube channel, and now maybe the possibility of taking over Gene YouTube channel. So 1 year ago, but pretty much 2 years ago, latest video uploaded, and then after that it goes to 3 years ago, and when you look at the latest, there's a link to his Twitch account for video game live stream. And then when you're looking at videos, 2 years ago, the latest. So what it means is that it's been 2 years ago that there was no video on his stream video game posted. It's been about 2 years ago that there was no video posted on his YouTube channel. And the only last time that you heard anything about Claire Dalleux is when he posted to my YouTube channel and to Jane YouTube channel when I was saying that he might be dead. Because I was talking about years and years back when Claire Dalleux was doing the video editing and the camera for Jonathan Click. They had made a clip about, basically saying to everybody that if you know too much, then you end up dead. So it was an address to everybody who would try to figure out the deception going on, and if they would post it, then they would end up dead. So they used the YouTube account of Claire Dalleux to post a comment, and that ended there. So there's no way to tell if Claire Dalleux ever was back, or if he's still out there somewhere. And now you get to see all the strange behavior going on. So enough of the BS. And then in this video, strangely enough, Jonathan Click is talking about he himself was a victim of kidnapping attempt. And that's where I was led to when I was searching for a video from Jonathan Click saying that if anybody show up at any important event he's organizing, then they would have to go through a scanner to make sure to know who's coming to the event. So the Night Under the Stars must not have been an exception to this rule, and so everybody going over there, they had to be monitored, and so there's no way that it's legitimate when he's bringing this phone call with Richard, when he's saying that Jeff Pesca just went under the radar and they didn't know that he was there at the Night Under the Star. Are you still able to think by yourself? Or it's just about fear? And to not, people don't want to risk anything for Jesus? Well, I made my choice.
Wearing a Columbia jacket, slacks, looked like a very professional person. Trinity came back and said, "Dad, there's someone at the door for you. He said he's a lawyer." At night. It's pretty weird, right? I went to the door. I told everybody on the radio, "Hey, I'll be right back." Did a commercial. Went to the door, and this guy says, "Hey, my name's Solomon. You?" He was dressed right now. "I'm an attorney. I've come all the way from Pennsylvania." Don't you think that's a little weird? And I was like,
I think I'm going to title this video "Enough of the BS 2."
okay, so I said, and so now I have a program going. I got my son there. There's some guy that says he's a lawyer. I don't know who this guy is. So I say, okay, well, why don't you come with me? I take him back to my recording area. I shut the door. I tell Trin, I'm like, hey, while I put my headset on, I tell him, I'm sorry, what was your name?
And of course, if the people in the story are only out of his imagination to make believe, then they could never retrieve them because they are product of his imagination to make believe story. So which story are really true? Which story are really make believe out of imagination? How would you know? Well, first thing to understand is that if he makes a video saying that there's not going to be anybody showing at an important event before they know who they are, and after that, years later, they say, well, there's this guy, Jeff Pesca, it seems that he went under the radar and he showed up at the Night Under the Star and we didn't know it. Doesn't work.
Name again, Solomon Hughes here from, where'd you say you're from? Pennsylvania. I identify him on the radio. I start with my program looking over the guy.
Okay, so he says that he was over his program. Is it possible to find back the date of the day of this program to see if there was actually somebody showing, or it was just pretending there's somebody, but on the radio program it looks like there was someone? How hard are you trying to find the truth?
He's manifesting demonically instantly. So now I let a demon in my house. As he's starting to manifest.
So how come he let a demon in his house? And that the way to make the demon go away was to use his martial arts. He didn't bring the scriptures and the power of prayers and his conviction and faith to get the guy to go away. It was his martial arts that he was relying over. He was relying over his martial arts, and he just said that he let a demon come in his house. He was not calling for Jesus helping him. He was calling 911. He was asking his FBI friends. He was asking his bank account to know if he's got enough money to get a barrage over the law of man, to shut true Christians.
This demonic presence, and he's talking and doing this back and forth to himself. I'm like, oh great. I tell everybody I'll be back. I don't know, some people in this audience may remember that. I don't know. Anyway, so I say, okay, you know what, it's time for you to go. And he starts, confrontational. Now he's in my house. Now some guy's in my house. It's getting confrontational. I don't know who he is. And I said, okay, that's it. I call 911. I have an unwelcome guest in my house. Here's my address. And I said, you got a few minutes.
Why he didn't call Jesus, the Holy Spirit, the Father? Scriptures, the Word of God. His faith, where is it? There's no faith there.
To get out of here. And so he's starting to become confrontational. And I'm like, okay, on the way to the door, I grab my cell phone. I turn on my cell phone on my camera. And I'm walking him to the door. And I open the door. And he turns around. He blocks the door. He tries to come in as a forced home inpatient. At that point, because I have my sixth grader there, I have to grab a phone, open a lock blade knife very quickly. And that's one of the things I trained with in.
Do you see how Jonathan Click is very good at knowing when somebody infringement, felony, infringement of the law of man, and how he could sue them? He's an expert at that. He can tell you right away, okay, there was this type of felony going on. He could be sued with this. He's very good at it. He's got a lot of experience.
Martial arts. And I told him my lock blade. I have my sixth grader there. I have to grab a phone, open a lock blade knife very quickly, and that's one of the things I trained with in martial arts. And I told him, I said, if you come one more step, this is going to happen right now. So I was put in a horrible position where I almost...
Okay, so he almost what? Killed the guy? He had a weapon in his hands. He was about to stab with the weapon. It's very well expressed here.
Martial arts, and I told him, I said, if you come one more step, this is going to happen right now. So I was put in a horrible position where I almost killed somebody on my front porch, trying to force their way back into my house. Okay, so in my last video, I was trying to make light of it and bring up some of the ridiculous stuff that's happened. But I've had several instances like Solomon U. So anyone that would call my cell phone or leave me a message or stop by my house, you know what? In my book, you need to just be slapped.
Okay, in his book, not in the Bible, but in his book, you need to be slapped.
Okay, I'm just going to say it.
Because his book is the book of the law of man. When I had myself a lawsuit for 7 years, okay, it was divided in 2 different accusations over a period of 7 years. And when I went to the judge, not the time when I was sent to psychiatric type of judges, the 3 judges that let me go, but before that, okay, when there was the thing about regular judge, and I went there with my friend Samuel, because he was also in the same, he was taken in the same accusation, so he could have a front seat to see fate. And then also he has faith, and that's why he followed me in it. And he risked his work, he risked his family, he risked everything because he believed me. He believed me that much. And then when he went with me in front of the judge got his book out. And that was the book of the law, and it was very heavy. So when Jonathan Kleck is showing you how much he's well versed in the law of man, and he knows every time that he could get an occasion to sue people for millions of dollars. And it's not imagination, because he had made videos recently saying that he wanted to sue everybody for millions of dollars over his sunglasses company that was supposed to be closed. So in his book, which book it is then, in front of the judge, then the judge went out to show his book, and the book of the law of man was very thick. So Jonathan Kleck, with in his book, he's going to slap you.
Okay, my last video, a lot of people are like, oh, Johnny, I haven't seen this part of your, your personality. I'm like, really? I'm trying to make a joke and kind of keep it lighthearted, but I'll just say it like it is.
So he's saying he's trying to make a joke, but he's talking about he almost killed somebody, and then after that he's going to talk to you. He's going to say, okay, in the video he's saying that there was a kidnapping attempt over him. Well, that's strange that I'm led directly here by the spirit that is in me leading the way, and then it has to do with kidnapping attempt when it's what has been addressed with Richard Blue, Mount Blue. We wrestle against spiritual wickedness in high places.
Anyone that does something like that and leaves a message or hunts down my cell phones, you know what? Showing up here would be a very, very bad mood for you. And I was just trying to give everybody a little bit of a pass. And then I saw comments, and there were actually comments in that last video. Oh, ask God who I am, and you should know who I am. It's like, shut up. You know what? What a joke. Do you understand? Do y'all understand what I deal with? Okay, so now, on a lighter note, I took the last video and I just put it on private for a while. I'll let it sit there for a while.
Okay, the video he said that he put on the shelf, he removed. He removed even from his archives and on his site, Click Files. He never put it back on. Never. Why is that? There's not much transparency going on. He never put it back anywhere available.
If you that got to see it, you understand. Just put it on. I took the last video and I just put it on private for a while. I'll let it sit there for a while. Those of you that got to see it, you understand. Like I said, I was trying to make light of the situation. It's actually a very grave situation. Do you know how many times I've had stuff that's really bad happen? There's been some pretty bad situations. So, without going into on, did you know there was an attempted kidnapping on me? Did y'all know that? Did you know there was an attempted kidnapping on me? Did y'all know that?
So in 2021, he's saying there's something, a video he made, he put it on the shelf, made private, but it's been 2 years since then and he never put it back on. So there was something hid. And as there was something hid, he's saying that he was attempted kidnapped over himself. How come I was led there directly after listening to phone call with Richard uploaded on Gene Revel YouTube channel? Phone call that is talking about some people think that I'm hacking computers. Well, Jonathan Click doesn't have to himself has the ability. And then it was all about a kidnapping with the story with Richard. Everybody that went at the Ark, since Jonathan Click was part of it, he would never let slip anybody that was not supposed to be there.
It was like a stab and grab attempt. Yeah. I mean, without going into it, did you know there was an attempted kidnapping on me? Did y'all know that? It was like a stab and grab attempt. Yeah.
And there is still no explanation given on how the heck Richard could get out of a moving vehicle on the highway, having his eyes, covered, and then he said that they were tied. Okay, he was tied up. How he could escape the van, if it was a van, okay, a vehicle. How he could get out of the car, whatever type of car it was, how he could get out. He was tied up. There was never given explanation how he could escape. Never. They never explained that part. They never explained how come he had not a scratch on him. And if it's not AI that making the discussion, then he can still bribe people. He gave them an amount of money and they are told, what they have to say over those phone calls that are recorded. So it's worth nothing. You need more than that to get proper conclusion. Because Jonathan Click has a long history of making those declaration. It's finished, and it's still coming around the next year and the next year. Finish line every year.
Yeah. Okay, so anyone that shows up here, I'm just going to say it directly, you will be considered a hostile threat, and I'll deal with you accordingly. Guaranteed. In the story. And if you think I'm supposed to care who God says you are, you know what? That's an Italian gesture. Go look it up. Look it up. Okay, and if anyone says, where's the love of God? You know what? Piss off. Try and go a mile in my shoes. You couldn't do it. I was trying to make light of it with Corey, but you know what? Okay. Anyway, so just made my point. All right. So anyway, like I said, I was just trying to make light of some of the crazy stuff, but now I just told you some of the other stuff. So if anyone thinks they're going to judge me on that, you know what? You don't belong here. You don't. Because when it comes to being a real and just honest person and tell you the truth and tell you what goes on in my world, you won't probably find people like me. But I'm willing to share my life, what goes on. And I'm willing to share a few laughs on how crazy it gets.
What about bringing back the video that you said that you put private for just a while? It never came back online. It never was shown again, ever. So back to now. Okay, 52 minutes ago, phone call with Richard.
Phone call came in while I was doing the video last night, and it came from a 512 area code, which your sister Donna lives in Austin. Is that correct?
That is correct.
That's 512 area code. Now, here is the transcription. It said, yes, Jonathan, this is the office of Nathaniel Sanchez, badge number 2609 in the San Antonio Police Department. Yes, sir, I'm in the security division, cyber security division, and we've had multiple complaints sourcing from the IP address that comes from your address, and then they got the address wrong. I don't want to say the address, but they got it incorrect. We need you to come in Monday morning at 8 a.m. to give a statement regarding this activity.
Well, if it's not a correct address, what's the fear of even mentioning the address? I don't understand this part. I don't understand that. If it's not the correct address of his computer, then why not telling the address then?
I don't want to say the address, but they sourcing from the IP address that comes from your address, and then they got the address wrong. I don't want to say the address, but they got it incorrect. We need you to come in Monday morning at 8 a.m. to give a statement regarding this activity. If you need the address, please take a pen. The address is 3635 Hudson Street. The phone number to that.
Okay, so there is an IP address for the computer, there is an address for the house, and there's a phone.
That office is 210-207-3906. When you arrive, please ask for Officer Sanchez in the Cybersecurity Division. Thank you. Have a good evening. Okay, someone's calling on Saturday night. Here's the problem. The address they gave, 3635, we looked it up. There's no 3635 Hudson Street in San Antonio. We actually drove down there.
Okay, so they had the IP address and the address house wrong? It's a little bit confusing because he said he would not want to give it.
I documented with the video. It's a new housing project where old projects used to be on the east side. It is not at all. So what I did after that is I checked with San Antonio. I typed into Google San Antonio Police Department cybersecurity, and it went to an address on Nueva Street. So here is someone making a false recording, saying that they're a cop, and to go to an address that's not even correct for the cybersecurity division. So, yeah. So anyway, now here's the other thing that happened. I tried to log on to my emails last night after kind of some of this was going on, and my email said, you've typed in your email wrong too many times. You need to reset your password. And it gave me one more attempt to sign in. And so I looked at I put on the screen, I want to see what the letters are in the password box, and I typed it in, and it was exactly precise. And I hit enter, and it said, no, you're locked out of your own email. You need to fill out this to get back into all your stuff. And I knew.
Well, since Jonathan Clegg is supposed to document everything, did he documented that? Did he documented that?
That was an attempt to probably hack me into all your stuff. And I knew that was an attempt to probably hack me. So
now they're starting with this thing about Jonathan Clegg getting hacked, but it's right at the time that I was about telling to everybody why I believe that Gene Revel YouTube channel has been hacked by Jonathan Clegg. I'm giving you 7 hours of video explanation why I believe that Gene Revel is not even Gene Revel anymore on his YouTube channel. And then they go on using Gene Revel YouTube channel to post the phone call in which there is multiple times Jonathan Clegg saying that he getting hacked and he could not hack other people.
What I did was I shut that down. I logged in through another location. I went to a different IP address and I logged in, and I got right into my emails with the normal password, no problem. So then I come to find out that your sister Donna is, and I think Karen or Kathy, who was the ones making the stuff on the Gene Revel channel, like, oh, they're hacking us or whatever.
No, that was, I believe Donna was saying that.
So
Kathy.
Donna and Kathy last night are leaving comments on a Gene Revel video, I believe, Gene Revel video, or yeah. Yeah, they're leaving comments. Oh, Jonathan's hacking Rebel video, I believe. Gene Rebel video, or yeah, they're leaving comments. Oh, Jonathan.
Remember and always never forget the aspect that there are invisible entities around us that see and hear what we do and go get in, to the other camp and then letting them know what the other people are doing. I mean, invisible entities, demonic entities, angelic entities, they goes back and forth. You don't have to, to know anything yourself because the spirit knows it and reporting. That's why the part faith. You cannot verify everything. It's impossible. You have to choose what you're going to believe from all of this.
Jonathan's hacking us. Well, for the record, yeah, they're leaving comments. Oh, Jonathan's hacking us. Well, for the record, if the world had to be saved by my ability to hack a computer, well, then the world had to be. Oh, Jonathan's hacking us. Well, for the record, if the world had to be saved by my ability to hack a computer, well, then the world would have to blow up because I can't do it. I don't know. I don't have that skill set. So anyway.
This is very useless. First of all, Jesus saves. But then Jonathan Clegg says that it was to rely over his ability of hacking. If it was relying over his ability to hack people's account and computer, it would blow up. It would blow up.
In comments, oh, Jonathan's hacking us. Well, for the record, if the world had to be saved by my ability to hack it.
And he's saying for the record. Like if he would just, present this in a court for the record, and is saying that if by his ability the world had to be saved. Really? He would bring that into court? When we know already that anything that is spiritual is completely rejected from court of law of man. They disregard it. And I know it. So, I can tell you, okay, 7 years lawsuit, I think I can tell you about this. When Jonathan Clegg said for the record, is he talking about a record that he would bring to court of law of man? Because I really doubt that he would bring that as a record.
Are leaving comments on a Gene Rebel video, I believe. Gene Rebel video, or yeah, they're leaving comments. Oh, Jonathan's hacking us. Well, for the record, if the world had to be saved by my ability to hack a computer, well, then the world would have to blow up because I can't do it. I don't know. I don't have that skill set. So anyway, Richard, what happened to your computer last night?
Well, at 1:30 in the morning, I just woke up and I got an alert on my phone saying, cybersecurity warning, your account may have been hacked. And I went downstairs and I actually woke up the person that I'm staying with, and he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I got an alert that I'm getting hacked right now, and I want to get in there to make sure it's, someone's not trying to get access to my email. Well, I went in there.
Oh, wait, hang on. Yeah, I lost you for a sec. You said I went in there and what?
I went into my computer to see what this alert was all about, and now I can't get emails because they wanted me to jump through hoops to put in some information from my old cell phone, and I've got to,
Oh, so they're doing the same thing to you they're doing to me. They want me to enter all kinds of data just to try and get into my own stuff.
Yeah.
But I was able to get in through a different location. Why was I able to get in? Because that means someone's trying to get into our stuff. So now, isn't it odd that Donna and Kathy are making allegations that
why people would need to go into his computer since he said that he would be transparent and show everything public? There would be no need to try to hack his computer to see the secrets because he said that there would not be any secrets. He will make transparent the whole story. Another mistake, error, obvious problem in his script there. Why people would even want to go and look in a computer of somebody that is supposedly honest and saying, I'm going to show you all transparency, everything made public. But at the same time, he made a video recently making the statement that he's not giving all what he has, okay? He's not giving it all right away, he keeps some. Well, that's a double-minded game there. Either you're going to say you're going to show transparency, or you're going to say that you are baiting people, but actually you have something that you keep to bait people, thinking that you have showed all your cards when you have kept some of them. There's no honesty, there's no sincerity in this. And the thing about accusing others of what you're being accused of, because they can even see in advance what we're going to accuse them of, because they have, the upper end of technology. Jonathan Clegg said that he would have favor with director of YouTube. YouTube is connected to Google, Gmail. They all work together on the messages that people are sending.
Jonathan Kleck's hacking stuff, but yet we have people trying to hack us. Isn't that fascinating? Wow. Okay. So that's your record. That's what happened to you at some hour this morning, like 1:30 a.m. Right?
Yes, that
Okay, and that was about the time I was over here going like, what the hell is going on with this? Okay, so now we have the same situation going on towards both our logins. So that sounds like someone is involved in trying to hack us. Wow. And then people are leaving comments saying that Jonathan's hacking other people. That's weird. Who's leaving these comments, Don and Kathy?
Well, how come in 2021, Jonathan Clegg was talking about a story when he was attempted kidnapping, but then now bring a story with Richard that has been kidnapped, but there's not even an explanation how he could get out from the moving vehicle on the highway, being tied up, head to toe.
The very person I was doing the video about last night, Kathy Edge, and her nefarious doings. I'll just leave it at that. So yeah, because when she knew her brother-in-law was growing weed, and she has a husband that's a sheriff, and they have all these FFLs floating around, of course. Now we have all kinds of motive, because she said if her husband's sheriff, she's sheriff. If he's chief of police, she's chief of police. If he's going to be judged, she doesn't know whether or not she feels like being judged.
So we get the resume of the accusation that he would bring in court of law of man would be basically Jim was growing weed and selling maybe to other people. I don't know exactly, but there is the growing weed aspect of the accusation. There would be the owning firearms illegally accusation. There would be the grabbing of genitals at the Ark accusation, and whatever else, okay? But that's all for the law of man. But what is really the accusation from a spiritual point of view of Jesus? What Jesus would do? What would be Jesus' concern to this? Is it anymore Jesus' concern to the situation? Or it's all led to how can we put this person in prison?
So now she knows that I could stop all that, because I did say I would give that to whoever the opponent was if they just didn't leave me alone. And so here we go. Now we have all kinds of motives. Okay, now let's talk about what Jeff Petska, you had told me that Jeff Petska told you certain things about going to the night under the stars. Now, I never met.
How could this happen unless Jonathan Clegg made an open door for it? I wish that it would be easy to find back when Jonathan Clegg made the statement about if there is an event important, like Night Under the Stars, before anybody can put a foot on the property, they would have to be scanned over and being truly known. where they're coming from, what's their past history, and all of that. Have you been? Did you follow from a long time everything that was going on? Anybody remember this part?
To whoever the opponent was, that they just didn't leave me alone. And so here we go. Now we have all kinds of motives. Okay, now let's talk about what Jeff Petska, you had told me that, Jeff Petska like told you certain things about going to the night under the stars. Now, I never met Jeff. I even called him the first time and said, have I ever met you? And he's like, no, but I won one of the beanies at the night under the stars. I was like, oh, wow, did we ever talk? And he said something like, no, but that's because it wasn't meant to happen till now or something like that. And I was like, okay, whatever. So anyway, I have no relationship with Jeff Petska, but now you were telling me Jeff Petska told you what about Jim Sullivan?
And he did meet Jim. So I've talked to him about Jim Sullivan twice.
So that's a double-edged sword as well, because as he's trying to link Jim Sullivan to Jeff Pesca, either it be true or false, as he's attempting to link them both, then also it's a double-edged sword because he has to explain how would it be that somebody like a kidnapper would be allowed at the night under the stars, since everybody were supposed to be monitored before being allowed in any of those events. That's why it's a double-edged sword.
And so it came up. We were talking about the night under the stars, and I said, well, did you get to meet Jonathan? And he was like, no, I was probably the only one that did it. He said, just left it up to the Lord, and, the Lord did direct me there. And I said, oh. And then we started talking. He's like, but I met Jim. Jim seems like a real nice guy, and he seemed converted at the time when I met him. And that was the conversation I had with Jeff about Jim the second time. And then as things got hostile in the house and he started looking at me towards the enemy, he's like, sweet, I've only heard it one other time. You're like Jim. Jim was converted and you lost your salvation, and now it's happening to you. And he used that specific, like that's how he compared me to Jim.
Okay, so all of the sudden it turned up hostile. All of the sudden it turned hostile. You come to the guy, he's talking about Jim, he looks like a nice guy, and then all of the sudden it turned hostile. How come?
With Jeff about Jim the second time, a nice guy, and he just left it up to the Lord, and, the Lord did direct me there. And I said, oh. And then we started talking. He's like, but I met Jim. Jim seems like a real nice guy, and he seemed converted at the time when I met him. And that was the conversation I had with Jeff about Jim the second time. And then as things got hostile in the house and he started looking at me.
As things got hostile in the house, but triggered by what exactly? There's like a part missing.
He's like a real nice guy, and he seemed converted at the time when I met him. And that was the conversation I had with Jeff about Jim the second time. And then as things got hostile in the house and he...
As things got hostile in the house, but triggered by what? Is the part that is missing in the story. There's not an explanation for this. It's basically just meant to say Jeff Pesca knew Jim Sullivan, then it's all turning hostile.
And, the Lord did direct me there. And I said, oh. And then we started talking. He's like, but I met Jim. Jim seems like a real nice guy, and he seemed converted at the time when I met him. And that was the conversation I had with Jeff about Jim the second time. And then as things got hostile in the house and he started looking at me towards the enemy, he's like, sweet, I've only heard it one other time. You're like Jim. Jim was converted and you lost your salvation, and now it's happening to you. And he used that specific, like that's how he compared me to Jim.
Oh, wow. So now we know Jim Sullivan has a personal relationship with Jeff Pesca from having met him and talked to him, because he was at the night under the stars and Jeff Pesca is saying what a nice guy Jim was. And blah. Does that sound correct?
That sounds exactly what he said.
So they would have had to have a meeting, you know, they would have had to converse and talk to each other, get to know each other, hang out a little bit. That's interesting because Jeff has a history of working in gay clubs as a bouncer. He has a history of living with a transgender, is what you told me. And then Jim has a history of grabbing men's penises at the Ark, and that's documented by Alex, and that spilled over onto some other people, and I was really pissed off when I found out about it. I was like, that's just insane. So now, isn't that fascinating? So now we have Jim Sullivan, as per your testimony, Richard Montbleu, that Jim Sullivan had a relationship with Jeff Pesca because Jeff Pesca told you. Is that correct?
That is absolutely correct.
And what the Lord hates? Well, false witnessing. By the way, everybody that are standing to say that Lord, all capital letters in the Bible is Satan, Lucifer, then how do you explain that the same Lord here saying that what he hates, yes, 7 are an abomination unto him, a proud look, a lying tongue, and hands that shed innocent blood? Do you think that Lucifer would hate this? But according to the letter I've got from Jane, that I don't believe it's Jane, and according to the messages for a couple of weeks with, what was his name already? Travis Martin. Then according to those, this Lord would be Lucifer. Well, how do you explain that this same Lord, all capital letter, it says here, these 6 things doth the Lord hate. Yes, 7 are an abomination unto him. A proud look, a lying tongue, and hands that shed innocent blood, and an heart that deviseth wicked imagination, feet that be swift in running to mischief, a false witness that speaketh lies, and he that soweth discord among brethren. So if you take a look back at other videos, you will find out discussion with Travis Martin, who was insisting a lot to say that Lord like this is Lucifer. And then also the letter that I got under Gene profile, but I don't believe it's Gene. Because there's no way that he would go with it. The Lord here is the true God. It's Jesus Christ. 7 things he hates. 7 are an abomination. Okay, sorry. These 6 things doth the Lord hate. Yes, 7 are an abomination unto him. A proud look, a lying tongue, and hands that shed innocent blood, an heart that deviseth wicked imagination, feet that be swift in running to mischief, a false witness that speaketh lies, and he that soweth discord among brethren. In the Bible, the Lord is saying that Lucifer is the father of lies. The people that believe that the Lord here is Lucifer, how they do explain that it says here that the same here hates a false witness that speaketh lies. Lucifer is the father of lies. They say this Lord here is Lucifer, but this Lord saying that things that he hates, a false witness that speaketh lies. Where is Travis Martin about it? How come the letter with Jane saying all the argumentation, how come he's agreeing with Travis Martin? And I had not an answer to give back. I have an answer to give back. But now it's getting buried.
He's not missing weird, right?
Oh, Richard, also, there's your sister Donna is out there saying you're a missing person again.
Yes, and I saw that comment on Gene Rebel's site, and I responded to that.
It's not Richard that is a missing person, it's Gene Revel, even though videos are being uploaded and comments are being made. It's Gene Revel that is a missing person. They say it, You can hack computer, you can steal YouTube account, Gmail. Everybody knows it's possible. And so when you look at what's going on, what people say each of the party, then you can figure out a lot. You don't have to see it to know it. It's the discernment.
For your testimony, Richard Montbleu, that Jim Sullivan had a relationship with Jeff Pesca because Jeff Pesca told you. Is that correct?
That is absolutely correct.
He's not missing here, right?
Oh, Richard, also, there's your sister Donna is out there saying you're a missing person again.
Yes, and I saw that comment on Gene Rebel's site, and I responded to that, saying, "What are you trying to do? Like, what's the motive behind this?"
Can you read your sister's comment? Do you have it available or no?
No, I don't have it.
Okay, well, I think Corey can go grab it. Corey can go get in and read. Why would your sister be? So now here's the other thing. I mean, it's maybe uncomfortable to crack open, but your wife and Donna both used to be stewardesses. Is that correct?
Yes, they were.
So were they on the same planes flying together?
Yeah, they were jet setting all over the place.
So they were so they went places together, out of town, maybe interesting places together. Do you ever have any concerns that maybe she was unfaithful?
Yes, I did. I always thought that, their relationship was on off. They were friends, best friends, and then all of a sudden they would grow to be enemies, but then they would always migrate back, and it was like this, shifting relationship. And I always thought maybe they've got something on each other. And actually, my sister April said something like that. I believe that was her that said, it seems like they have something on each other. I'm not saying that Jonah cheated on you or anything like that, Richard, but it's just weird that they always defend one another.
So then they fight and then they defend each other.
Yeah.
So that's their relationship. Okay.
That's their relationship.
All right. Well, I just want to make the whole world aware of these relationships now.
Why? How is this going to help Jonathan Kleck's message about the Vatican is a dead sheep? The thing about transfer of power, Vatican, Pope, 10 kings of the earth giving their power to the Antichrist, there's nothing profitable in it about Vatican is bad. Everybody knows it already. Everybody heard about all the, different shaming story regarding priests and all of that. Everybody heard it. It was worldwide television, non-stop during a period of time. And then after that, people started to think very low of the church in general, Catholic. It's useless for Jonathan Kleck to say it's going to help destroying Satan's plan because they just transfer power to another. When something is ready to go down, then they will destroy it because they know already that it's planned to go down. So where is the real target then? Who are the real people of concern?
Is it okay with you if I play this on YouTube again? I want everyone to know everything. Because now, there's an old saying, methinks thou dost protest too loudly. And that means that the person that is barking the loudest is usually the person that's guilty of whatever they're barking about. And
then it means everybody are guilty of something because everybody is barking very loudly. Everybody on every camps and every party are barking very loudly. So who's more guilty than the other then?
Your sister Donna is barking very loudly and it doesn't make sense. Kathy Edge has been barking for 2 years.
Now he is comparing them to animals because animals are barking. He didn't even use the words say loud or yell. He's saying barking, comparing them to animals.
But now it makes sense to me because she knows that I could stand in the way of her being judged because if her husband's judged, she's judged. So now I understand the hostility and maybe the desire to have me locked up because if I'm out there in the world, I could stop her.
And that's another issue. People don't know what role they have. They don't know their own role. So they get in a situation where they cannot escape because they didn't know their role. They could not discern what their role was.
Her husband from becoming judged. That was, if I'm out there in the world, I could stop her husband from becoming judged. That would give her a motive. So now we have possible motives and legitimate motives. And also she knew, Kathy Edge, according to Jack Lamb, knew that Jim was growing weed and holding an FFL that was assigned to the property that her mother owned. So now we have all kinds of motives going on here, really bad ones. When we're talking federal felony, federal crimes that Jim and Karen and Kathy could all, and Chuck could all be involved in now. Because
And since Jonathan Click is an expert in that, he could follow through. He would have the money to back up the attorney and all. And what about the the motive of Jonathan Clegg for trying to go there?
if they knew about FFLs and they were growing weed and there was these things going on and violations of not filling out paperwork, but there Jim was in desperate need of money, so he kept asking me, hey, can I make another AR for you and use up some of my old parts, in order to get money in.
Isn't it something that Jesus taught that everybody are guilty? It seems like it's like showing who's worst. Everybody are guilty of something. And you have everybody got sin in their life that could be caught and brought to justice about an accusation. Everybody. Now, the whole thing is about preventing voices. When Jesus, he was there to make himself a wall between the accusation and the stoning. And he said, who hath not sinned, throw the first rock. Who hath no sin. So only Jesus himself would have to throw a rock because he's the only one who had no sin. So he can fulfill his own words and he can fulfill also the law, because they said, well, you have to fulfill the law of Moses because she's taken in adultery, but he was making himself a wall between them and her, because he is going to take into his own hands how he's going to fulfill the law of Moses in that situation. And for this cause God shall send them strong delusion, that they should believe a lie, that they all might be damned who believe not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness. So the preventing of voices, because the false prophet is paving the way for the Antichrist, the true prophet is completely discarded and ignored. Jesus says Elijah is come first, but he was not. You didn't know him. And as they are dancing and singing and celebrating, then destruction come upon them.
And now we've come to find out that right.
Does it look like to you peace and safety?
Before the night under the stars, guess what?
But all of them, they keep repeating peace and love and joy and As they make war with you, they say peace, love, I love you in Christ and all of that.
What? Jim was served with a lawsuit for $45,000 or something like that, where he had to come up with $45,000 really quickly to start paying off something from his gun thing. Yeah, we have that lawsuit now, and so then after the night under the stars, when
So it's a way to say to Jim that if he was grabbing people's genitals, then now they are grabbing him by genitals, but because they have whatever they need to bring to the court. And you never know which part is true and which part is false in all the different accusations that's going on. Because not everything can be documented on the spot. Was there any camera recording of Jim grabbing people's genital at the arch? But now you've got Jonathan Clegg basically saying back to him, now he is grabbing him by the genitals.
After that, when I confronted Karen Sullivan and said, you're speaking contemptuously about me, and she lied 3 times, so she's proven herself to be a liar. Then she did 2 videos, which proves she lied, because she was trying to apologize for her lies. Now, there's a motive for all this money that they needed to pay back, and they were pissed off because I confronted them. And then it was everybody get the F out right now. And now that's where this ended. But here's the thing that's most interesting to me. Why did Karen, Kathy, Jim all have these channels that mirrored Gene Rebel, that is an avid hater of Jonathan Clegg? Why did they carry out a 2-year narrative that I'm a false prophet and I'm this lying SOB, when I've laid hands on people that are terminally ill, people that...
Because the false prophet in the Bible is said to be able to show signs and wonders to deceive it, if it were possible, the very elect. So here's a motive, but a spiritual one. Not just to bring a lawsuit and sue people and that are already poor. Maybe they were rich, now they are poor. I have yet to upload all the videos all at once concerning my direct address that I believe that Jonathan Clegg took over Gene Rebel YouTube channel, as he is still making videos talking about this concern. It's powder to the eyes. So what he's got to say, Jonathan Clegg, is saying about Gene Rebel YouTube channel, whosoever is in charge of Gene Rebel YouTube channel.
It's not according to my words. I'm just saying these are the words of Christ. And then what's fascinating is the entire Gene Rebel channel is just a blatant hate. Just, we've got to get Jonathan Clegg, JJ. Yeah, JJ. This guy thinks, I listen to his videos. I'm just so mind blown that he talks to the camera like he thinks I'm watching. It's so sad. Oh my God. Anyway, so now I've made a record. Anybody else want to say anything while we're here?
Richard's comments not on Rebel's account.
Oh, did you screenshot your comment when you made it, Richard?
No, but I can certainly go back and do that.
Oh, they're going to have you blocked now. You should have screenshotted the second you make your comment.
Yeah.
So now you got to send I would send Donna an email, a text. I would send it out to everybody that you left a comment on the Gene Rebel channel, that you're not a missing person, but they took the comment down.
Yes, I sent that to April, I sent it to Donna, I sent it to John.
Well, now you should let him know that your comment is no longer on the Gene Rebel channel. Why would he take your comment down?
Wow. Hey, Donald, you taking that down?
Well, I mean, I'm relying on Corey.
I just looked 3 times.
Corey said he's looked 3 times. and he doesn't see the comment that you made saying you're not a missing person. That means that Gene Rebel, who's in charge of that, whoever's in charge of the Gene Rebel channel, means and he doesn't see the comment that you made saying you're not a missing person. That means that Gene Rebel, who's in charge of that, whoever's in charge of the Gene Rebel channel,
whosoever is in charge of Gene Rebel YouTube channel. So before even I post my videos, they know already what's going to be the address and they prepared for it.
well, I mean, I'm relying on Corey.
I just looked 3 times.
Corey said he's looked 3 times.
Is he trying to use Gene Rebel YouTube channel to make all the people going over there look bad in the end because he's putting those, evidence here and there using Gene Rebel YouTube channel? If there is really a comment that was removed and they get, I don't know if Gene, sorry, it gets complicated, but let's say, for example, you've got Richard. Okay, I believe that Richard never been abducted, not abducted, but kidnapped in the first place. But then Richard is saying that he had left a comment that Gene removed. So then people going over Gene and cheering over there would be also in the same lot of looking bad, because if it's Jonathan Clegg that's controlling Gene Rebel YouTube channel and planting those evidence here and there, then that's how he could bring all the people with it.
Why would he take your comment down?
Wow.
Well, I mean, I'm relying on Corey.
I just looked 3 times.
Corey said he's looked 3 times and he doesn't see the comment that you made saying you're not a missing person. That means that Gene Rebel, who's in charge of that, whoever's in charge of the Gene Rebel channel, is taking down Richard Montblue's comment saying you're not a missing person. Think about that.
Wow.
Everybody needs to go scour it right now, and you need to screenshot it that your comment is no longer there, and document. Okay, I'm going to say this one more time. Ready? Document, 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 document. The second you leave a comment, you document it. Because you prove you left the comment.
From his own mouth, Jonathan Clegg said, whosoever is in charge of Gene Rebel YouTube channel. So, implication, okay, implying, okay, by implication, suggesting that somebody else could take over his YouTube channel. How come Jonathan Clegg made it like that? He's saying whosoever is in charge of Gene Rebel YouTube channel. He's basically saying that somebody can take over his YouTube channel. It's not just about Gene. Name is not Gene. It's talking about who is in charge of Gene Rebel YouTube channel. Just as much as you had Corey Barbie, you have Zach Wentz. Who was in charge of Zach Wentz YouTube channel and Corey Barbie YouTube channel? Who was in charge? It was Jonathan Clegg in charge of those YouTube channel. It was him that was using those YouTube channel. So when he's saying who is in charge, whosoever is in charge of Gene Rebel YouTube channel, it's the same way.
We're here.
Richard's comments now on Rebel's account.
Oh, did you screenshot your comment when you made it, Richard? Or Rebel channel is to the words of Jesus, not according to my words. I'm just saying these are the words of Christ. And then what's fascinating is the entire Gene Rebel channel is just a blatant hate. Just, we've got to get Jonathan Clegg, JJ. Yeah, JJ. This guy thinks, I listen to his videos. I'm just so mind blown that he talks to the camera like he thinks I'm watching. It's so sad. Oh my God. Anyway, so now I've made a record. Anybody else want to say anything while we're here?
Richard's comments not on Rebel's account.
Oh, did you screenshot your comment when you made it, Richard?
No, but I can certainly go back and do that.
Yeah, oh, they're going to have you blocked now. You should have screenshotted the second you make your comment.
Yeah.
So now you got to I would send Donna an email, a text. I would send it out to everybody that you left a comment on the Gene Rebel channel that you're not a missing person, but they took the comment down.
Yes, I didn't send that to April. I sent it to Donna. I sent it to Johnette.
Well, now you should let them know that your comment is no longer on the Gene Rebel channel. Why would he take your comment down?
Wow. Hey, Alex, you taking that down on?
Do you remember what?
Well, I mean, I'm relying on Corey.
I just looked 3 times.
Corey said he's looked 3 times and he doesn't see the comment that you made saying you're not a missing person. That means that Gene Rebel, whoever's in charge of the Gene Rebel channel.
Why he said more specifically, whosoever is in charge of Gene Rebel YouTube channel.
Is taking down Richard Montblue's comment saying you're not a missing person. Think about that.
Wow.
Everybody needs to go scour it right now. And I'm caught in the peripheral, and I'm over here documenting everything. So you guys need to document it.
Yeah, we got it.
All right, there you go. Here we go, guys. All right. Heavenly Father God, yes, you are Father. We love you. Thank you for your protection and your guidance on this. Psalm 18, I think, says it all. You are our rock and our salvation. You're our high tower, Father, and we put all our trust in you. And remember, those that don't.
Well, it seems that he put his trust in FBI, 9/11. Okay, so I'm continuing theorizing about some of the aspect of Gene YouTube channel. Is it still him that is controlling him or not? Or if it's just all an appearance? Well, there are some evidence that's hinting to it, but about the theorizing about it, the part theory, okay, is that since I'm recording videos, and for example, I would show in my videos the other YouTube channel from Gene that he had, the Jonathan Clock. As long as I'm showing that on video, they could not remove it. They could not really try to attempt to remove the testimony that's already over there from Kelly and myself, because else if they would do it, it would be apparent. Me showing it on video, showing the dates I'm recording the videos, and then somebody else would go take a look to see the Jonathan Clock YouTube channel, you know, the mirror red from Gene, where he put our testimony. If people would check it out and they would see, well, there's no video there, or something is different over there than what they would see from me recording it with the phone over my screen, then they would, you know, people would start to notice, okay, there's something odd with this, there's something wrong, and got to take a further consideration. So since already I really believe, okay, that everything we're doing, they are looking at us doing it live. Okay, when Jonathan Clegg, he said that there are things that he cannot show people, but he recorded live, I think that it is in reference of the spying through our screens or through our phones. Okay, so whenever I'm doing something, they would see, and then if they see that I'm recording, for example, the Jonathan Clock, and I'm showing the videos, then they could not remove it because they know that it would appear on my videos, and people would be suspicious if they would go there and they see that there's none showing. Basically, I'm saying that from one screen to another screen, people don't see the same things. I believe there's a lot of switch that can be turned on and off, and a lot of manipulation, and it's all individually that everybody in their screen, they get to see some things, but from another person's screen, they wouldn't see the same thing. Well, that would be very difficult to control. Well, yes, but they see it as an advantage to them because they have the ability to do it. You know, to make believe, for example, if I would go on Zach Wyn's YouTube channel, okay, and then I see there's no more videos uploaded on Zach Wyn's YouTube channel, but he uploaded new videos, and other people can see it. Some people cannot see it. It cannot see it. It's like selected people who can see and selected people who to whom the switch is turned off. Same goes with the comments. Then so I would go over, for example, Zach Wyn's YouTube channel. I would see, okay, there's no video, there's no new video, and I would think simply he did not upload anything. But then other people would be aware that there would be new videos, but on my side of the screen, I just think not much is going on. There's nothing new coming out from the YouTube channel. And even it would be legit for me to think that, because Jonathan Tlick kind of forsaken Zach Wyn's YouTube channel to go over his new old YouTube channel. So, you know, it's really playing on the mind. Now, maybe you think, well, I'm going too far with this. Okay, I'm going too far with this. Well, this is Kelly that sent me this. Google, Eric Schmidt meets with Pope Francis at the Vatican. We know already. What are the facts that we know? Jonathan Tlick made a statement about having a service, a favor, that the director of YouTube had to give to him because he performed miracles over somebody in family of Google, not Google, but YouTube director. We know that YouTube is working with Google. Okay, they working together. Google and YouTube are working together. That's why everything is you know, from a couple years ago there was a change. Everything was put together with the Gmail and YouTube all connected together. Okay, Jonathan Tlick is exposing the Vatican, but we know that Satan is exposing himself, so Jonathan Tlick is working for the Vatican, but he is exposing the Vatican. Jonathan Tlick made the statement that he will have favor with YouTube director. YouTube is working with Google. Now you've got the Pope from the Vatican shaking hands and making deals with Google chairman. You know, so people responsible at Google makes deal with the Pope from the Vatican. Jonathan Tlick said that he had favor with director from YouTube, and then because of miracles that he had done, and then he's exposing the Vatican, but he is working for them. Because what do you think is damageable for Satan? Do you think what is damageable for Satan is that Jonathan Tlick over and over would say that the Vatican is a big snake eating a sheep? They are going to transfer the power from the Vatican to the Antichrist and the false prophet. So it doesn't hurt Satan that Jonathan Tlick would expose the Vatican. They will transfer the power. Remember the 10 kings giving their power for the Antichrist? So they all going to transfer power. So it's not hurting. I mean, you got to sit like that. Why Jonathan Tlick would expose the Vatican if he's working for them? Well, because there's going to be a transfer of power. They don't care about the Vatican. Jonathan Clegg, it does nothing for him to expose the Vatican except to get credibility toward Christians. Which is kind of odd too, because Catholic is not Christian, but Jonathan Clegg is using his exposing of the Vatican to get credibility toward Christian. But when you're thinking about it, since there's that transfer of power, it does not hurt Satan. Google Eric Schmidt meets with Pope Francis at the Vatican. Eric Schmidt, executive chairman of Google parent company Alphabet, had an unusual meeting of his calendar on Friday. And always they say, we cannot know everything that's been discussed about, but there's kind of those Illuminati Freemason meeting, right? It's not new. It's from 2016. But it doesn't matter, okay? Because, their plan is long-term. And when Jonathan Clegg is making a statement, it's also long-term. Because when he made his prophecy about Hoover Dam and Obama and all of that, it was of long-term planning. So in 2016, January 15, 2016, you've got a couple things though. It says here, a video report from the TV news agency Rome reports showed the pontiff shaking hands with Schmidt and Jared Cohen, director of Google Ideas. So the Pope shaking hands with director of Google, but then you've got director of YouTube, they go together. Schmidt said to Francis, Pope Francis, so you've got director here of Google Ideas, said to the Pope Francis, I want to work with you to make these points. We will make it happen. The Pope responded, pray for me, don't forget. It's not known what the two were referring to. Just like when Jonathan Clegg talking about all his stories that he cannot tell you completely, but he's just hinting that there are something going on behind closed doors over his own house. Now you've got, although Francis admitted he doesn't know how to work a computer. Remember, Jonathan Clegg just made a video just now saying that he could not play Minecraft video game of his children. Well, you've got the Pope making a similar statement. Pope Francis admitted he doesn't know how to work a computer. Exactly the same way Jonathan Clegg said that he could not know how to play the Minecraft video game of his own children. Although Francis had admitted he doesn't know how to work a computer and has called the internet a gift from God, he is no stranger of Google products. So and then they're talking about confess he's a dinosaur. He confessed he is a dinosaur when it comes to technology. But really the message is about, the reptilian, the seed of the serpent, the lineage of Cain, dinosaur. He confessed, and yeah, from the Vatican, including one in which he confessed he's a dinosaur when it comes to technology. And then you had Jonathan Clegg portraying Obama as a dinosaur using the painting, and when he had drawn out of the painting a dinosaur. So it's not my imagination neither when I can show you that I had those USB keys where I put the word for Jesus, and then you have Jonathan Clegg. He's showing right to make sure that I get it. He's got the same USB key looking like it's the same color. It's not the exact same design, but same color, light blue USB keys, light blue USB keys that I showed that I have here. And then you've got Jonathan Clegg with the same light blue USB keys, and he's saying that it's more valuable than all the money in the world. So of course, okay, the information from the early years, I started to send it to different people in different places to make sure that if somebody would grab them at my home, then it would be still somewhere else also. And before making their moves of grabbing the USB keys, then as soon as they would do that, other people that do have those information, they would know that, okay, it's like they are going for it. So that would be pretty much at a time that they go on with some part of their plan, if you know what I mean. So Jonathan Clegg always been telling to everybody where was the concern about, but his listening people, the people listening to him had no idea that it was really related the battle, where it really was waging the war. People had no clue. And only because of our testimony, it has been known over Jane YouTube channel, and even there, they had tossed it on the side. The people that were watching Jane were saying, we don't want to hear about these other people. So, when you get to see he had 3 lions in the background, well, that was 3 months ago. Since then, Jonathan Clegg, he switched YouTube channel and he went over this YouTube channel. But it's still an ongoing story. And then he's got 2 lions. And it never got back to 3 lions. So what was the meaning of it? Well, the meaning of it, obviously, what it is that Christians are the young lions. Jesus is the lion of the tribe of Judah. The thing about his bear hugging was relating to Karen and Katie, but more specifically Karen, because she was the person that had the miracle performed over. And then since Karen and Katie, they would be what? They would be what in the story? The 2 she-bears of Elijah that were used to destroy 42 children of them. We know already how, the ongoing story made it that Karen and Katie and Jim and Chuck, when they decided to go against Jonathan Clegg, there's a lot of backslash that went with it. And when Jonathan Clegg is hugging the bear has to do with Karen, I believe. You got to think about it, okay? In the story of Scripture, when you read the Scriptures, you have Elijah with the 2 she-bears. Jonathan Clegg is not Elijah. But since they are misplacing roles, you see, I say that I can tell everybody who's their role. If they have a role, I can tell. But then the enemy is misplacing roles. He's hugging the bear. In the Bible, the bear is killing 42 children. It's not hugging. The bear is directly having to do with Karen, even though she's a peacock, because peacock is representing of them, Karen and Kitty, but also bear. Now you've got the young lions. The young lions representing Christians. More specifically, who are the Christians that were a concern to Jonathan Clegg? And now there's only 2, but there were 3. So when you're looking at the timing that Jane started to post our videos, that was around 3 months ago. When was the time Jonathan Clegg had 3 young lions? That was about 3 months ago. And then it switched to 2 lions. 2 lions. 4 days ago. But if you look at all the videos, one after the other, from Zach Wentz up to the point of the transfer to Jonathan Clegg YouTube channel, you're going to see that the 3 young lions, it never came back. So at the beginning, he played with it. He put 1 lion, 2 lion, 3 lion. I think he did 1 lion, 3 lion, and then after that switched back to 2. And then after that, it stayed to 2 lions. We know already that Jonathan Clegg, every single thing that's going around him has all a reason for it to be there. So when he did the 3 lions, and he made it that after a while, as Jane was putting her testimony on his YouTube channel, then you see that Jonathan Clegg had switched the lions from 3 to 2 lions. And now I say that I suspect a lot Jane YouTube channel to not be no longer in his own liberty to use, but taken over and manipulated, but looked like he's there, but he's not there. And he's starting to bury our testimony, not removing them, but piling older videos to just make them disappear in time that people would not know they are there anymore. So there's something to it. You're looking at the timing, you make different comparison to show that they are really looking, where's their concern about? And then you see 3 lions, and if you're looking at all the videos, okay, you see from my side of the screen, the video stopped from 2 weeks ago and there were not any new ones, or there were not other in the between. So that's what I can show from my screen. If it's not the same on your screen, there's a problem. Same goes with Jonathan Clegg YouTube channel, mirrored channel from Jane. All our videos from testimony are still there the last time I checked. And I also remember that Jane, when he left, he said that it will have to be enough because it would stay like this and it would not be moved. How come 1 month later everything changed? There was the weird letter that I believe is not from him. There's a lot of appearance. Okay, but Jesus, he said to not trust what our eyes are showing. What our eyes are seeing is not all that we need to trust, because there can be a lot of mirage. There can be a lot of deceptive to the eyes, even that from one computer screen to another computer screen. So when you're looking at your computer screen and you're convinced, okay, that's what's happening, what about everybody else over their computer screen, what they do get from it? So the recording like this and reporting over everything is the best way. Okay, it's the best way to make sure that if other people get to see your video and they get to see, okay, they can give feedback, and if there is something wrong. But I get so little feedback, and because people might be afraid that I go back on their comments, but what are you afraid of, really? Why being afraid at all about this? When I go to somebody's comment, if I'm wrong, and if what I say would be false, then there's nothing to fear. And if it's true, then why did you do it then? So, Zach Wins, you look at his YouTube channel, the latest here, 2 weeks ago.
Was a dump. I showed you guys the Jonathan Clegg and the followers of the ministry, Jonathan and company helped fix up. Jonathan Clegg and the followers of the Jonathan and company helped fix up. Jonathan Clegg and the followers.
You see how he's pointing directly to the young lions when he's saying the followers?
The ministry, Jonathan and company helped fix up. Jonathan Clegg and the followers of the
Jonathan Clegg and the followers of the ministry, and he's pointing directly to the young lions. So he's showing the concern. It's right there. Well, there's 2 lions here, and they are together. But then he's putting each one of them on his shoulder from another video, and you never see 3 lions anymore. So all the way in the between, from the time he showed 3 lions and then 2 lions, there was what going on at the same time? Well, at the same time, Gene was mirroring our videos from me and Kelly. You see? So when did it stop? Well, it stopped about 2 months ago. You see, that's pretty much the latest, I think, that was uploaded from my YouTube channel. And then after that, it stopped. It stopped for a month. And then it started again. But without our testimony videos anymore, it was like complete rejection. So what happened in behind doors? Okay, what happened in the how do you explain this? Okay, that you've got the 3 lions, the 2 lions happening at the same time, that you had our testimonies uploaded over Gene, his letter saying he will not come back, everything will stay like it is, and then after that it's like no explanation, coming back and doing like nothing happened and keep going. It's just taking back his older videos back to the surface. It's anybody can do this, stealing the account of someone else. They don't even use the AI. They don't even have to. They can convince people everything is fine, even without having to use the illusion with the AI. People, you need to start looking at it seriously, because remember the scriptures, if it were possible, the elect would be deceived, and then people are not taking care of real investigation. It's fine, Gene come back. They don't even look into it. But then after that, we don't need an interpret. The Holy Spirit is going to teach us. We don't need anybody to tell us anything. That's what I get from people now. Don't try to tell us anything. We don't need you. So when you're looking at it, okay, from the
Romans 12 now. And again, okay, so here, and you know what, let me call.
You see, 2 lions. There were 3. And after, it only kept to 2 lions. There's a reason for it. He could have put just 1. He could have kept his 3 lions. But there's 2 onward. Never 3 again. So there's a message in it. Don't you think it was foolish of Jonathan Click to put his toy lion in the background with his 2 fires? It was foolish, right? So why don't you believe me when I'm telling you that there was a reason for it? Do you think he would have done some things making him look like a fool if there was not a reason behind it? So as unseemly it could be, maybe that's actually what's really happened. It's a message.
All right, folks, God bless you guys, and welcome to This Is It.
No freaking way Jim Sullivan knew Jeff Speska before his Richard as a handler kidnapping. So, Jeff Speska, maybe it's true that he was hanging with Jim Sullivan. Maybe Jonathan Click can bring something, evidence about it. But then, Jeff Speska hanging with Jim? Jonathan Click could have seen the perfect bribe. Okay, Jeff Speska hanging with Jim. Let's bribe Jeff Speska. And then after that, we're going to say Jim was hanging with Jeff Speska. Why people are not thinking it through a little bit more? I was led, okay, because there was Ron Haskell posting on the bell video I showed from after the marathon. There was a bell, and then Ron Haskell showed up, made a comment. I went to his YouTube channel, and the first thing I see is Jeffrey. Well, this very video is Jonathan Clegg trying to explain that Jen Sullivan knew Jeff Pesca, and they were calling him Jeffrey to show the closeness. And then Ronaskel is a sodomite. He's living with a male as a partner, life partner, and his name is Jeffrey. Okay, there's only one lion on this one. It's 4 days ago. Only one lion now. So you mean to tell me that every time Jonathan Clegg making a video, he's thinking, okay, let's move stuff around a little. Every time he's making a video? Why is that? Why Jonathan Clegg had the need to move around his stuff every time that he's about to record a video? What is the explanation for it? To remove evidence? Because now I'm starting to say, well, look, there were 3 lions, then it switched back to 2. There's this suspicious behavior from Jane with his letter, and then people don't know what's being done behind closed doors or under the, behind curtain, or how people get manipulated. What do you think? 2 lions, there were 3. USB keys, he's showing the USB keys the same way. I cannot make those videos too long because I have no space. There are things that people might not have noticed even though it's in plain sight. It's in plain sight. So, do you remember when Jonathan Clegg was going over Jean's YouTube channel, looking at the thumbnail, and he stopped right where the video from Kelly, Walk With Me YouTube channel. Of course, he wouldn't click on the video, but he was pointing at the video over the testimony that Kelly brought that were mirrored over Jean's YouTube channel, and it was showing in plain sight what people should know. But since the focus is all about over Karen specifically and Jim, then there was no concern. When I put out the video that I showed, I ran a marathon on 1st October, marathon in Quebec. At the end of the marathon, there was a bell. And prior to that, Jonathan Clegg said that he had to ring the bell again. And then when I uploaded the video, again, no concern. There was only one person by the name of Alan. And he made a comment saying, I never seen anything like this in my life. Do you realize what you're looking at? And so most people disregard pretty much everything that is significant. People don't even realize that they go over Jean and they comment like, he's there, but I don't believe it's Jean that's there. Jean is taking older videos, but the person controlling, not Jean himself, the person controlling the YouTube channel of Jean Revel is just simply rolling out old videos periodically in random manner. Okay, you see how periodically a couple hours goes by, an old video being uploaded. Then a couple hours goes by, an old video is being uploaded. It's AI rolling out randomly older videos from Jean or somebody taking over his YouTube channel. And we know it's possible because Jonathan Clegg already displayed manipulation of, when he changed his join date, which he should not been able to do, but it was done. So it's proving he has access to it. For years now, he's been threatening Jean to find him and to prevent comments to be posted. And what I believe it meant is that he would take over his YouTube channel. The thing about the story of the kidnapping of Richard Montbleu, I believe this has nothing to do with Richard Monbleu, but it was just another code to talk about the kidnapping of Jean Revel. I've got a letter with the avatar and the name Jean Revel. It's like it was coming from his account, but it was really the words from Travis Martin that was in the letter. And then there's still a lot more stacking up because the foundation block for the Church of Jonathan Fleck, I show in this video, Fake White, how they are an exact replica of the new AI language model. And then there's a video about it, and it's Jordan Patterson that's talking about how he called or he received a call from Ben Shapiro, but he knew that it was not Ben Shapiro over the phone, but it was AI language taken from data they know about Ben Shapiro and making a new voice, not a new voice, but they make a new speech taken from the voice, making it look like it's somebody when it's AI reproducing from the data they get to make new speech. At the same time this happened, you've got Jonathan Fleck and Jean, both of them putting a lot of phone calls recording. Okay, Jean mirrored the video that Jonathan Fleck put out there about phone calls proof. Okay, you know the thing about all the different videos about phone calls. You've got this is Zach Wint's YouTube channel. Zach Wintz never made any YouTube video over his YouTube channel. Corey Barbie, he had never made any videos over his YouTube channel. It's always Jonathan Fleck taking over YouTube channel and making videos over those YouTube channel, and I think that's what happened recently with Jean. What I believe is that they make it look like Jean is still there, but they are just rolling out his old videos. Unless I see an evidence of contrary-wise. The thing about the comments in the comment section, once in a while Jean put a comment, it can be somebody else that making the comments. You think it's Jean just because you see the avatar in the YouTube account. It doesn't mean it's him. The phone calls, okay? You had over Jonathan Fleck, he switched YouTube channel as he was saying that he could get favor from director of YouTube. Okay, there was this handshake agreement between Google chairman with the Pope, and we know that Google is directly connected to YouTube because everything has been linked as one entity now, and then every time you're doing something with YouTube, it's directly linked to your Gmail and vice versa. So when there was the agreement shaking hands between chairman of Google with the Pope, it was in 2016. You've got the story with Jonathan Fleck saying that he had favor with director of YouTube because of a miracle he had done to her family. If you saw that, if you followed. And keep watch, if you kept watch. You know, Jesus, he said there's many watch, keep watch. And then you've got the phone calls. When all those phone calls started to appear, you had the phone calls here, different phone calls that were showing in recent videos of Jonathan Fleck. And over Jane YouTube channel, they were all mirrored back. So you see, okay, Jane is uploading videos that really looks very random, okay? I mean, the latest video he uploaded, he said at the beginning of the video that it's October 20th. October 20th. We are October 7 today. We are October 7 today. He posted a video today and he's saying it's from October 20th, so it's last year. Why he uploaded a video from last year of 1 minute talking about, so JJ, is this Jean or is this Sir James Sunshine Boy? If you've been around, you know that it's an old video. It's not new. Okay, there's no new content. Sometimes he would comment back to some of the the people in the comment section, but it doesn't mean it's him. Anybody can take a keyboard and type and use the Gmail if they have access to it. So it's not evidence. If you click on the video here, what it's about, it's an old video that he made.
Thursday, October 20th. It is Thursday, October 20th. It is a...
Sorry, okay, it's my parents that, you know, the vacuum for cleaning and the background sound. If you hear the sound in the background, it's my parents doing the vacuum cleaning in the house. But I wanted to record this right now. So it's a video from October 20th. It's an old video. I remember this video. Maybe a lot of the subscribers remember this video. They can confirm it's old. So he's just rolling out his older videos, but it doesn't make sense that he would put this out there.
The Buddhamus day. Very Buddhamus. I don't see one streak in the sky. They're lovely. That's my papa dog. I hear a helicopter in the background though. I wonder what he's up to. He's doing recon. They spotted Eugene. Who's this Eugene you speak of? Why do you say Gene? I did say Gene. He said the Lord used Eugene. And I'm like, well, who's Eugene? And they say, I'm Eugene. But that doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense when you're looking at it. It looks like AI randomly re-uploading his videos every random hours. Okay, you see, it's all old videos that he's re-uploading. First of all, is to bury our testimony from 2, 3, and 4 months ago. You see, okay, that's the very latest here. And then after that, it goes to 3 months ago. So that was around the time he was mirroring both my videos and Kelly's video. It's matching the time when Jonathan Clegg started to play with his young lion stuffed toys. And it goes also, you know, when you're looking at it, okay, one by one. When he started with the young lion, Jonathan Clegg, over Zach Wynn's YouTube channel before he switched, it started here, okay? This is the first video, I believe. There was a stuffed lion in the background. So I think it was 3 months ago over there, the first time he started with the young lion stuffed toys. And at the beginning, he played with it, he put one, and then after that he put, okay, there was one here too. You look one after the other. There was one here too, and then after that, there were 2 young lion stuffed bear, not stuffed bear, young lion stuffed toys. And then after that, there was back to 1, and then there were 3. Okay, you see, there were 3, and then after that back to 2, there were 2, and then after that 2, and after that 3, 3, 2, 2, and then after that it kept to 2. So at the beginning, when he started the thing with the young lion stuffed toys, it's about who's the people that he was concerned with that could be threatening to him, because the young lion would be the Christians, but he is not a Christian. He's against Jesus, so that would be his enemies. And then he's counting them, and then he's showing, look, now there are 3, look, there are 2. So you had who's making videos that can hurt. So you've got Gene, his YouTube channel, gathering all the people that are against Jonathan Clegg. Then you have the testimony of Kelly, my testimony. Well, that makes 3. Okay? So the people making videos that would be damaging more. And then he's counting them. So at the beginning, he's playing with it. He's putting 1 lion, 2 lion, 3 lion. But after it started, then after it remained that from 3 lions to 2 lions all the way. So it was around the same time that Jane was uploading her videos. It was around the same time that Jonathan Clegg made this cease and desist threatening of bringing all of this to the lawsuit, to the law of man, which is not Christian, because Satan would bring everything to the law of man, because the lawyers are in the pocket of Satan, but judgment, true judgment from Jesus comes from the law of God, and it is spiritual. It's not to be manipulated with the law of man, which the lawyers are good at bringing the law toward the side, not of the criminal or them that they need to defend, but simply to whom will pay the most. Right? That's why the law is made in a way that lawyers can manipulate, and if you can pay enough, then even if you're guilty or not guilty, then it's just about how good your lawyer is to be able to get you out from jail or to bring you to it in jail. So, well, do you believe that when there is the evidence, if you are a criminal, then for sure whatever lawyers you will have, you will be able to get out of trouble? Well, why then there would be the thing about there are better lawyers than others if it doesn't change the outcome? So Jonathan Clegg bringing this to the law of man. He's having, he's one of the Illuminati family. His name Clegg is just because of his adopted father, Henry Clegg, the doctor, the mad doctor that were performing an abortion. As Jonathan Clegg confessed in his his oldest video, when he did his confession, when he was decrypting Mayan calendar, and then he said about abortion. Why? Because of his father, Henry Clegg. That's why Jonathan Clegg name. But it's an adopted father. His true father is George Bush Jr. Can I prove it? Well, what I can prove is that Jonathan Clegg said that he's married to a Dupont Illuminati family. They cannot do marriage with another without being from an Illuminati family also. So just pick one of the family, but it's good to be one of them. But I say Bush because, first of all, you have 2 reasons why I say Bush. It's because 9/11 was under Bush, and also from father to son they continue on. So Bush from 9/11, Jonathan Clegg bringing on the money, Bush, 9/11, Jonathan Clegg with his, prophesying next 9/11. There is the mannerism, the facial traits. He looks like Bush Jr. Jonathan Clegg looks like Bush Jr. if you're looking at different facial, especially when he was younger. So two reasons why I choose to believe it's from Bush family. It could be from another, but it has to be from one of those, because he said he married a Dupont. Now, Dupont has to do with nuclear, it has to do with nylon. This was brought by Kelly, she found it, she brought it to the upfront. Once again, this was not taken back much. And then, after that, everything coming back to the face of everybody who ignored everything that we said. Because now it's become very relevant. You had the playing with the stuffed toys, 1 lion, 2, 3 lions, but after that, if you look at every single videos, you're going to see that it's remained 2. So there was a point where there was 3, and so it would show his enemies more significant, but then, okay, they take out one of them, so now it's become, down to 2. So that's why, if his videos, after that, you see 2 lions on the background, where it was there were 3. You see strange behavior over Gene YouTube channel. The strange letter that I got that I believe is from Travis Martin stealing the YouTube channel. You know that Jonathan Clegg has access to a lot of money because if he's in the Illuminati family, he's got access to all the money, but he's just pretending on YouTube to get money only from people from the ministry from YouTube. It's all a facade. You see the face, how it looks very much like he's always got something that he knows that people don't know, and so he's clapping his hands to his gods as it was done before. Also, Kelly brought this to the upfront, the thing about what was the real reason behind the clapping of hands. Then you've got the two lions on the background all the time. After that, you see always two lions on the background. He's moving them around, but it's always two. I think that there was an exception when it was back to one, but mainly two. After showing that he had three. You see on this one, he put the two lions, one next to the other.
Let me tell you why the law of attraction does not work for most people. Now, to manifest anything, you must ask, then receive, right? But let's...
Even bear a son. You shall
They get everything from the Bible verses, but they never give glory to God.
call his name Emmanuel. Emmanuel. So now, and it is of the living.
You see here, there's one lion here in the corner, but in the same video, he showed that there were two. So, okay, this is from the same video over Zach Wentz, two young lions, 30 seconds in, and then after that, showing one. He moved them around in the same video of 8 minutes long. So he's playing around with his toys, but it's really representing the Christians that are a concern to him because Christians are his enemies.
Bible says in Hosea that we
Satan exposing Satan, he's talking about the Vatican because why? Because the Vatican is going to give its power and there's going to be a transfer of power, so that's why they don't care about exposing the Vatican. There's going to be a transfer of power. It's not to bring down the enemy when you know already that it's going to transfer its power and it doesn't matter if you bring down your enemy, the power is going to be transferred anyway. When it's talking about the 10 kings are going to give their power to the Antichrist, what do you think? They bring them all down. They say, look, we've brought down the enemy. Well, they did not brought down the enemy because the same power for the same enemy has been transferred to another. When Jonathan Clegg said in his video, it doesn't make sense for him to be called a Satanist because he's exposing Satan, and it doesn't make sense, Satan exposing Satan, but it's in the Bible that Satan would do that. If Satan be divided, his kingdom cannot stand. So you look at it, it's always two young lions from about the time when Gene changed, everything over his YouTube channel, talking about when he brought our testimony, and then after that, now that he's trying to bury them. People have not the readiness of mind. They think, like, you see, okay, it's always two lions, then from there, two lions again. You look at all the videos, two lions on the background again. And then after that, it gets to the point where, okay, you see two lions, one next to each other here.
50,000 because they were
Like
scared
this?
we were going to see the crap.
So where's the third one? Where's the third lion that he had? How come it's down to two? And then from this point to 2 weeks ago, there was a video there. 1 month ago, there was a video there. But he was in the process of going over this YouTube channel. And so when you scroll down, you see that videos are from, you have 3 months ago, but then 2 months ago, he was changing YouTube channel. And then as you look at it, it's continued in the background, 2 young lions. Just wanted to prove 2 young lions. 2 young lions. Just wanted to prove my theory about the 2 young lions when there were 3 and he was playing 1 lion, 2 lion, 3 lion. But really it was representative of his enemies, because Christians are his enemies. And now Jane is gone. I'm pretty much convinced that Jane is gone. And then it's showing now it's down to 2 lions. Do you realize? And then just going to keep going up to the. You see, okay, you look at.
I mean, ring it. I didn't know. Maybe.
Okay, here you see 1, but maybe there's 2 because it's too much toss on the side. But the point here is that there is a message in everything that is doing, and
Just put in different
you
places.
see here, you think there's 1, but actually there's 2 because there's 1 that is just showing a little. So 2 young lions. Where's the 3rd one? How come it came from at the beginning when he started 1, 2, and 3, but then after that he stick from 3 to 2, and then it remained 2. At the same time that what was going on over Jane with her testimony being put there, and then after that a huge overturn. People should be understanding that when Jonathan Click put his video about marathon and he said that there were 422 marathon pictures showing up, it was coinciding with when I ran the marathon 1st October. You see, 6 days ago, we are 7th of October. I ran the marathon of Quebec here on the wall. You see, okay, on the wall. Marathon, Quebec, 1st October. How many marathons there were on 1st October? Well, there was a marathon in Quebec. At the same time, Jonathan Click was displaying messages about this. You see, finish line, running marathon. If you're not sure, look, there is really somebody running marathon. And then after that, if you're not sure, still, then he was talking about his 422 picture of marathon running. And then after that, he just said, well, let's forget about all of this. Be thankful that I did not sue you. Talking about the twins, and Jim, and Chuck, and all the people over Jane. To the latest video, okay, he's still showing 2 lions here. 2 lions on the background. 2 lions on the background. So the 3rd lion, who would it be? That was Jane. But he's no longer there. Well, no, Jane is there. Look, he's uploading videos. He's uploading videos. Well, somebody randomly or something, AI, randomly re-uploading his older videos in loop. Doesn't mean that he's there. Why uploading a video from last year about this is Jane or is this or Jane? It doesn't have to do with anything. It's just a loop, random loop of his older videos. To make appear like he's still there when he's not. Well, what about Jonathan Click saying that he's still concerned with Jane making videos and people re-uploading his video, mirroring videos? Well, that's the perfect powder to the eye to make it look like he did not kidnap him. To say that he's concerned with people making videos still mirroring from Jane and Jane making videos is the best alibi. All those phone calls that were, you see, okay, this is Jane YouTube channel there. All the phone calls that were re-uploaded, mirrored from Jonathan Click, other sites. When Jane, he decided to re-upload all those phone calls. Phone calls. You see phone calls with Jack, Cat, and Johnny. Phone call with Richard Montbleu. Phone call with Richard. Looks like things are opening up. Phone calls with Mike Giver. Phone calls. What was that all about? Well, what was that all about? at the same time that they say there is a rise in AI technology, and AI technology can copy voices, and so any proof that could have been presented in court has no value anymore, because it has no value anymore because you could never tell if it was made by AI or if it is legitimately the person that was making the calls. Listen to that, and at the same time it shows the new language model for AI that is an exact replica of Jonathan Clegg church foundation building blocks.
Hireling, you went on and on about somebody saying that you were showing us the same old soap over and over. You see he repeating soap opera, said soap, YouTube channel soap, nuts and bar of soap, a soap opera, and then you've got the mentioning of soapbox, and it has to do with an election, and a soap, YouTube channel soap, nuts and bar of soap, a soap opera, and then you've got the mentioning of soapbox, and it has to do with an election, and then AI mimicking people stealing their identity.
You know, I already got a phone call. I got a phone call about 3 weeks ago from Ben Shapiro, but it wasn't Ben Shapiro. It was someone using an AI system to monitor. You know, I already got a phone call. I got a phone call about 3 weeks ago from Ben Shapiro, but it wasn't Ben Shapiro.
So you've got some guy, Jordan Peterson. He's very well known on YouTube, okay, for what? For exposing evil. And then he's appearing on all kind of podcasts like Joe Rogan, which has millions of people watching it and all of that. So Jordan Peterson, it seems like he's being interviewed or something over a podcast somewhere, and then he's talking about he received a phone call from another person that is very well known on YouTube also, Ben Shapiro, going against the LGBT and all of that, okay, gender equality and all that. So you've got two well-known people, and they say, okay, this Jordan Peterson saying that this other guy, Ben Shapiro, called him on the phone, but he realized that it was not Ben Shapiro, but it was an AI that took data from Ben Shapiro to make a message, but artificial intelligence message. Now you've got at the same time, because I was recording this something like a month ago, but I did not upload publicly because I started to think people don't even want to hear at all. Why should I upload this publicly? But I kept record of it. But then you had at the same time this whole thing about phone calls to be taken as evidence to be brought to court of law in the case this would go there. And then you've got an explanation that, well, AI can take data to make artificial messages that looks like it's the person, but it cannot be any more presented in a court of law because you will not be able to tell the difference. Do you realize that they can do this with videos also? Videos evidence, phone calls, voice evidence. So what it means, basically, is that in a very near future, there cannot be judgment anymore, because without proof presentable to a court, the people cannot be condemned. So there will be no judgment because the AI making it impossible to bring proof, because all the proof can be artificial intelligence copying the real person. So when you bring a picture, well, artificial intelligence can make a picture and it's no proof. You bring phone calls recording as evidence. well, artificial intelligence can copy perfectly your voice and make a story out of it. That's not going to be you, not presentable in a court of law. Well, voice, video, evidence. Well, AI can do now complete copy of your face and all, and make a video. And it's starting to happen on YouTube. You see all those videos about people that are celebrities, but AI made a story out of the data they get from the person, and they make a complete new story using their voice. It's not them, but artificial intelligence can fool can fool you to believe it's the person. So nothing can be anymore presented as proof in a court of law, and without proof there cannot be condemnation, so there's no judgment anymore. Do you understand this? How big this is? People will not be able to be judged anymore because of AI being able to copy people identity and all of that. Did you think about this? How come all of the sudden, as I was finding about this, there was all these phone calls to be presented as proof? I'm not saying that this is automatically all false, those phone calls. What I'm saying is that it's very strange that you've got at the same time they bring those phone calls, and at the same time they are declaring to everybody, to the whole world, that none of the proof will be presentable anymore in court. Why? You can deduce this easily by knowing that if they can copy somebody perfectly identity, make videos from scratch, and it's not you, but they just took the data from you to make a new thing out of it. Then, what do you think? There cannot be any more judgment. They want to remove the ability to judge. You see, they said in the future there will be no judgment. Well, I heard that 10, 20, 30 years ago. When it started on YouTube, okay? With the New Age religion. What I was hearing from the New Age religion, it's going to be a time that there is not going to be judgment anymore. You know, don't judge anymore. There's no judgment. But then in the scriptures, the Bible, it says what? If we would judge ourselves, we would not need to be judged. So they want to say there's not going to be any judgment. So then you're going to all be judged. Because the scripture is saying if we would judge ourselves, we would not need to be judged. What the parable mean? It means that if you are able to realize your fault and repent of your sin, then when you go to the judgment, Jesus is going to say, I paid the price for you. But when they say, no, there's not going to be anybody judging anybody, and there's not going to be a second thought about sin, then when after that, death comes and you go to judgment, then there's no advocate to your defense.
It was someone using an AI system to modify their voice in real time using, I got a phone call about 3 weeks ago from Ben Shapiro, but it wasn't Ben Shapiro. It was someone using an AI system to modify their voice in real time using Ben Shapiro's
incoming phone calls. All the phone calls. Now you understand where it's coming from. So is Jane still Jane? Or is somebody taking over? There's no evidence that it's Jane. No. None of this convinced me. Bringing back older videos, it's not convincing me. If it were possible, even the elect would be deceived.
accent and diction. And I, like, after talking to him for about a minute.
Look, the same radio again. I mean, you've got the woman with the radio. I love Jesus, but then Jesus to her is a radio. You saw her shirt.
Radio frequency, not a song. You have the radio for a song, but you have also radio frequencies.
There's the radio. the soap box, and then the soap with the comment from Travis Martin.
And I knew something was up because
You see, okay, the thing about the
Radio waves.
the way he talked wasn't the way Ben talked, but the voice was.
You see, okay, the thing about the
The way he talked wasn't the way Ben talked, but the voice was, the cadence, everything.
The
was
waves.
100% perfect. And of course, we've already seen deep fake videos, and they're going to become extremely common. And you can imagine, how could this not be the case? You know, on the eve before a critical election,
An exact replica of what you would see from when you're looking at the person, and an exact replica of the voice tone and the voice pitch and all of that from the person that you would usually hear, but it's AI. And you cannot make the difference except you understand the difference of spirit, because even the mannerism they can copy. So even if you show your face, it wouldn't be a proof. So you have to decide what you're going to believe. Do you believe it's AI? Do you believe it's the real person? This was never like this before. But how long it's been out there since they now are saying it's out there? When they say it's out there, then it means that it was out there way before that. So how long this could have been used already? And of course they will use it. And maybe they did use it already.
there'll be the release of some deep fake video. Of course, absolutely. You know, of a candidate in bed with someone, or God only knows doing what or saying what. And by the time we find
they are preparing the false flag. This is their way, okay, of saying in advance the false flag around the corner. The election, there's going to be, you know, the thing about dreams, people had that Obama would grow horn.
Well, it's not hard to find, because if you look at the recent video from just over here, Obama with horns. Well, that's from 1 month ago over Jonathan Fleck YouTube channel. Just to remember you. That was Obama with horns.
In live television, you know, the thing about dreams, people had that Obama would grow horns in live television for to make happen the prophecy of Jonathan Fleck. They fake videos showing Obama growing horns and stuff like that.
find out that it's a fake.
Everybody already heard the news about Obama's controlling Joe Biden. So when they would show Obama with growing horns on television, then people already heard about Obama was controlling Joe Biden. Everybody heard about it. They know everybody heard about it. Even people that did not watch heard about it.
So now think about it. If you've got the new AI language that is able to do those copying and stealing identity and make-believe, and you would figure out that it is the foundation blocks for the Church of Jonathan Fleck, then don't you think that it means that he could use this AI technology to make believe that somebody is somebody when it's no longer this person?
Even people that don't believe in anything at all, they did hear about it.
It'll have had the effect on the election. Yeah. And so, what are we going to do when?
And they can know easily that everybody heard it. Look at this. They know that everybody heard about what, because they can follow social media and they can know what people are talking about. and so they can know everybody has been talking about certain things, everybody knows about it.
And photographs and videos can be faked with perfect fidelities. And these AI language systems are so sophisticated that they really do pick up the essential elements of someone's thought.
This means there cannot be any more judgment because you cannot bring proof in front of a judge because all those proof can be AI generated.
Especially if they have a large corpus of words to work with. And I have a student, a former student, he's a colleague of mine now, who's worked with large language models for years, and we've started experimenting with these sorts of things, producing a virtual Nietzsche. We have a virtual King James Bible, and so
you see this?
Virtual Nietzsche. We have a virtual.
This is the exact same thing as the founding stones over the building shipping containers of Jonathan Fleck in which he made this church. Remember his 4x4x4 stone square? About putting this, I would have to type in. There's the type.
Hey Michael, I'm doing the container video right now. Can I call you back? Actually, I got you up on the screen here. It's Michael calling everybody. It's upside down. That's insane. I'm going to turn you and clean out this. This is the way I did this exactly where the corner of the container is supposed to go. So now we got those two done.
You see, that was his foundation stones to hold this church. That's the exact same replica there.
That's pretty much damnable, isn't it? So how will judgment happen if you cannot no longer rely on what's on video, what's on picture, what's on recorded voice, phone calls and all? How are you going to make judgment is the question. So I found it very, very, very suspicious when I saw the behavior going on. Somebody else could be controlling Gene YouTube channel and people would not know it. And then in every videos uploaded from his older videos, you see people commenting and like nothing suspicious. They don't understand what would be the purpose of still uploading videos against Jonathan Fleck if Jonathan Fleck stole Gene YouTube channel. They would not understand the purpose of it. He told you he wants to bring all of this in front of a court of law of man, and the court of law of man would disregard completely the aspect spiritual and would focus only of what would be presented as direct law infringement. That's why I say that if it would go to court, that would be Jonathan Fleck that would win. He's got all the judges in his pocket, right? You know, the judge from the law of man, he's from the Illuminati family. What do you think? How do you think he brought the story about he was brought to court and he was winning because he had passed the test of psychiatric? How do you think? So when you hear different stories from different people, how do you discern? Any videos that Jane brought back, people are commenting like, you know, it just keep going as it was before. There was something changing. People did not catch it.
$? Did he ever do that? No. Do I care? No. But
so this is like 16 hours ago. Is JJ starting to crack? Inquiring minds would like to know. Comments below. And then you've got 78 comments. People are actively keep doing the same way. There's no comments to be found about any suspicion whatsoever, as long as it keeps going in the direction of bringing videos to expose Jonathan Clegg, and they have not heard my warning about it. Karen put a video the other day on her YouTube channel and she took it down within a day. So what it's telling me is that it was reaction out of emotion, just like I called it when I said, look at the video, what has been said in the video, there's nothing spiritual brought, it's just about dumping your emotion public. So I told you, I'm not taking a side, I'm not taking, you know, I'm just, it's one by one, individually, discerning and judging and protection, but also judge, protection, protected, but also being judged. What do you think? Jesus, he said, that he is just. What is to be just, do you think? Is it to be completely defending without punishment if there is fault? What do you think is to be just? When I was going over Jane and I started to judge, and people said, why do you do this? Because Jonathan Clegg will take this as an opportunity to say that we are not holding together, let's concentrating our efforts to destroy Jonathan Clegg. But I was telling, don't you remember scripture saying that, you know, he is judging his people also. Never forget about this. God is just. What do you think it means? I know what it means. It means to be ready to lose everybody if you know that what you're doing is the right thing to do. Let's see who's standing in the end. And they will use our sin against us. So don't disregard neither every accusation coming from the side from Jonathan Clegg, because they have seen our sin and they will use it against us. Not all the accusations he's put out there are false. Never underestimate your enemy. Don't think that it's going to be an easy win. Don't think that because the Holy Spirit is with you that there's not going to be punishment and shame. Remember how the story of Aaron, how he made the people of Jesus, he made them naked to their shame in front of their enemies. So when also it's saying, Jesus talking about people, talking about we are of the seed of Abraham, and Jesus saying, don't think that it's going to protect you, that you say you are from the seed of Abraham.